by Molson. Brewers of Molson Export. It keeps on tasting great. Canadian General Electric. Progress for people since 1882. Canadian Tire Dealers with 326 stores to serve you across Canada. And by the Ford Motor Company of Canada, on behalf of your Ford and Mercury dealers from coast to coast. Minnesota is once more the site of the Stanley Cup semifinals tonight. Game number 4 between the Calgary Flames and the Minnesota North Stars. It was Sunday at the Met Center in Bloomington, where the North Stars kept the home ice advantage they had gained in Calgary. A 6-4 victory was once more dominated by Minnesota rookies. Brad Palmer, a power play goal, one of 4 the North Stars have scored in this series. The Flames have been blanked with the man advantage. That put Minnesota into a temporary 4-3 lead. After the Flames had tied it at 4, the game winner was scored by Minnesota's all-rookie line. Neil Broughton dropping to Brad Palmer, who returns the puck to Broughton. A backhand pass finds Steve Kristoff wide open. He puts it up and over Pat Riggin. And the North Stars defeat Calgary 6-4 for a lead of 2-1 in this series. Tonight, Minnesota will try to take a commanding 3-1 edge, going back to Calgary for game number 5. And the North Stars have become an unusually effervescent lot, throwing beards and playing practical jokes in these playoffs. But prior to the game, as you see them now, everything is serious. And there's a message on the Minnesota blackboard in the North Stars dressing room that says what the North Stars are thinking. 9 victories so far, 6 more to go to win the Stanley Cup, and they're asked to believe. Good evening, everyone. I'm Dave Hodge. We welcome you to game number 4 in this Calgary, Minnesota series. As well tonight, game 4 between the Islanders and the Rangers. And this could be the last game in that all-New York series if the Islanders should win for a 4-game sweep. It's at Madison Square Garden. The Rangers like to think they have an advantage there, and we will be bringing you highlights of the Islanders-Rangers 4th game as we follow the progress of Calgary and Minnesota. Now, let's introduce you to the members of our broadcast crew. Don Whitman, Gary Dornhofer, Chico Resch. Some comments about the lineups for tonight's game.
The Calgary Flames are making a lineup change tonight. Mike Dwyer has been called up from the Central League to replace the injured Kent Nielsen, who underwent shoulder surgery yesterday. And to the surprise of our experts, both teams are making a goaltending change tonight. Gary Dornhofer, first of all, the Calgary situation.
Well, Rajon Lemelin will get the start tonight, and talking to Coach Al McNeil, he was very pleased the way Reagan had played, but thought under the circumstances, tonight would be a good time to change goaltenders. Now remember, Lemelin, his last play was 11 days ago in that 3-2 loss to Philadelphia, but he's ready, and we're expecting a good effort from him.
All right, well, the Minnesota North Stars, Chico Resch, have also made a switch, probably even more surprising.
I think so. Gilles Meloche is coming off a good third period, a win Sunday night. Donnie Beaupre also is a winner in his last game. He's playing at home. I think there's a lot more pressure on Reggie Lemelin tonight than there is on Don Beaupre, just for that reason.
Beaupre and Lemelin, the starting goaltenders tonight. Now let's rejoin Dave Hodge.
Well, injuries have already played a part in this series, and the North Stars lost Tim Young. They put Bobby Smith back with Steve Payne and Al McAdam, and Smith put on a dazzling display in game number 3. Now the Flames have to replace their top center, Kent Nielsen, tonight. Our Stanley Cup coverage will return in just a moment.
It happens every morning. The new Braun Micron 2000 does it. Built to shave, Braun close. Built to perform for perfectionists. With a platinum-coated microthin foil. The Braun Micron 2000. Braun precision every morning. Now the Braun Shaver Contest. First prize a sports car worth over $26,000. Enter the Braun Shaver Contest. Look for details wherever Braun shavers are sold.
Homelite string trimmers really get the job done. Featuring the new lightweight ST80, the rugged heavy-duty ST200, and the ever-popular ST100. And now, Homelite introduces a new line of electric string trimmers in the ST20, ST40, and ST60, all lightweight and dependable. If you're looking for a gas-powered or electric string trimmer, get a Homelite. and give your lawn the finishing touch.
Hi again, everybody. Well, the Met Center in Bloomington, every bit as noisy tonight as it was 2 nights ago when the North Stars skated to a 6-4 victory. But quite a contrast in conditions inside the building. It is not nearly as hot and humid as it was on Sunday night. Glenn Sonmore would like nothing better than to head back to Calgary for Game 5 on Thursday night, holding a 3-1 lead in game. And there seems to be an air of confidence, Gary Dornhofer, among this Minnesota team.
Absolutely, and talking to the players out there during their drills this morning, they felt that if they skated, they have to skate. That's the key to their attack. They will get their chances against the Flames. But, Sonmore, he was very impressed with the way Calgary has been playing. He said in that third period, late in the third period, they took over. So we're in for a tough series.
Chico Rasha mentioned that it is not nearly as hot and humid tonight. It must have been extremely tiring on the players on Sunday night, because some of them made the comment that it was even warmer than in last year's playoff in Montreal, where it was something like 80 degrees.
That's right. They were saying the ice was the worst that it's ever been here. So that's a tribute to how hot it is, because usually this is the best ice in the league. And Bobby Smith was saying he was sure glad that he had that extra day off in this series, unlike the last series, because the players really needed it after that tough game on Sunday night.
And now our national anthems with Jim Bowers.
Oh, Canada, home and native land, true patriot love in all thy sons command. With glowing hearts we see thee rise, the true North strong and free. From far and wide, oh Canada, we stand on guard for thee. God keep our land glorious and free. Oh Canada, we stand on guard for thee. Oh Canada, we stand on guard for thee. Oh, sing, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watch were so gallantly streaming, and the rocket's red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave?
Game 4 of this semifinal series will be handled by referee Bob Myers, and the linesmen are Gerard Gauthier and Swede Knox. As we mentioned earlier, changes by both teams in their starting goaltenders. For the Calgary Flames, 26-year-old Rejean Lemelin will be in goal, making his first start in 11 days. He last played in the 3-2 loss to Philadelphia. Don Beaupre, the 19-year-old leading candidate for Rookie of the Year honors in the NHL, making his first start in this series. He has not been in action since he backstopped the North Stars to a clinching victory over Buffalo in the quarterfinal round. Bobby Smith is out there between McAdam and Payne, the top attacking unit for the North Stars in the last game. Into the Calgary zone, up along the boards, they try and get it out. Smith keeps it in. In behind the net, Payne is pinned against the board. Hartsburg races in from the point. Hartsburg coming out from the corner, a shot and a save by Leveler. Back of the net. McAdam having difficulty controlling it. Finally, it's poked away from him and played off the boards and down the ice by Don Lieber. Racing back after it is Hartsburg. Hartsburg in his own zone, up along the boards, but not out. A shot and just went wide of the net. In that Minnesota zone, they fight for it along the boards, and they finally succeed in tying it up for a face-off after 40 seconds of play.
Well, remember the other day, Chico, we had talked about defensemen pinching in when the pressure is applied. North Stars off of that fast start almost got a goal because of that. But we look at Bobby Smith. I mean, he brought up his level of play yesterday, something that we have never seen before. Fantastic effort leading the North Stars.
Well, usually the players don't rave about another player the way they did about Bobby Smith after the last game. He was a dominant force.
I think Lou Nanne stated it rather simply after the game. He said Smith was superb.
Yes.
Play back at the Minnesota goal. Giles in his own zone, trying to get out against Poplinski. Over to Roberts. Roberts looking for Broughton. Broughton had it just go off the end of his stick into the Calgary zone. Kevin LaValle tried to get it out of there. Broughton working from the corner. Now it's brought out. In behind the goal goes Roberts. Roberts back to the line. A shot by Palmer. He's got a cannon. He can unload. Here's the chance for Calgary. Just a little too far for Gould on the right side. Into the corner. Giles and Gould come. Palmer coming back. Dodges the check to the side of the net. Brad Palmer for the North Stars. Working into the center ice area. He can really fire that puck. He tried to center it. It went off the skate to the line. Gord Roberts keeps it in. A shot and a save by Reggie Lemelin. This is something you'll notice in the contrasting styles of Lemelin and Reagan, is that Lemelin is very much a stand-up goaltender, Chico.
He is. He's in a position for a lot of the rebounds. On that case, he stood up and actually kicked the puck almost out to the blue line, which relieves a lot of pressure, doesn't get you in trouble.
Now, I want to ask you this, Chico. Now, Reagan catches everything. There's not very many rebounds when Pat Reagan plays goal. With Lemelin, on the other hand, he uses his pads more. May result in a lot more rebounds.
Right, he uses his whole body, and he just likes to get hit. You know, he's saying, I'm going to play the angles, play the percentages to get hit, so he gives a few more rebounds. But if you're in position to recover, that's fine.
From the face-off, Russell takes a shot and hits Smith. Smith breaking out for the North Stars. Over on the left side for McCarthy. McCarthy trying to get a shot away. It's deflected at the goal mouth. The penalty is upcoming against Dino Ciccarelli as he collided with Reggie Lemelin. From Bloomington, Minnesota, this is Stanley Cup 81.
If you take your car out for several trips in a day, you're spending a lot more money on gas than you have to. That's a good reason to do all your errands at one time. The name of the game is saving money. Read about it in the driving economy book from Shell. Shell helps.
Well, it's Dan LeBrotten who has drawn the interference call at 1:51.
Now watch him go after Bobby Smith. Smith coming over the line. And Dino Ciccarelli, we thought that he was going to get the penalty, but to the left of your screen, it was LeBrotten had his winger all tied up, and that was where the call originated.
So the Minnesota North Stars have the man advantage. The face-off in the Calgary zone. Russell goes to the boards. Laying it ahead to Clement. Clement is unable to get it out against Hartsburg. Now it's Smith, back to the line. Maxwell winds up. The shot knocked down in front. Another shot, and the save is made by Russell, and it's flipped down the ice.
This has been dangerous territory for the Flames. 4 power play goals for Minnesota, plus 2 shorthanded. And that's been basically the difference of these two teams.
Bobby Smith, a 4-point performance in the 6-4 win, in across the line. He's controlling it for Minnesota. Drop pass to Hartsburg. Back to Smith. Smith had a little difficulty controlling it back of the net. Marsh clears it up along the boards, kept in by Maxwell. A race for the loose puck. Smith going after it. Payne comes in to help out. Payne out to McAdam. A shot and a glove save by Lemelin. Hislop in back of the net, taken in against the boards by Smith. Smith comes up with the puck. Back to the line, to Hartsburg, to Maxwell. Maxwell tried to go around Hislop, and he poked it free to the center ice area. 59 seconds left in the penalty to LeBratton. Smith in across the line, dodges a check. He winds up, shot, save, rebound, they score! Ciccarelli!
Well, another power play goal, and Coach Al McNeil says we have to be able to clear our rebounds a lot better. What more can you ask from Lemelin that he's given tonight?
He's made 5 great saves already. You're going to see Bobby Smith avoid a check here by Phil Russell. This sets it all up. See, because Bobby Smith's able to wind up and blast, save, rebound, and that's the guy you don't want to score in this rink. They held him off. Everybody's a Dino fan here. He electrifies this crowd. Now the Flames have really got a challenge ahead of them.
You can't give up the blue line to Bobby Smith. You saw what he can do once he gets into that offensive zone.
Center ice area following the power play goal. Calgary shoot it in. Greg Smith ahead to Maxwell over on the left side for Carlson. Carlson plays it off. Anderson into the corner. Carlson is there. He's fighting for it along the boards with Reinhart. Maxwell comes in. They still fight for it in the corner. Finally it's poked free. Now it's played ahead by McMillan. There's a penalty coming up against the Minnesota North Stars. I believe it is Maxwell who will be going off as Calgary gets that extra attacker out of there. And finally the puck is cleared down the ice by Minnesota as the whistle goes. McMillan and Maxwell are having words right now. However, a penalty is coming up against Minnesota. Tonight's Stanley Cup playoff game is coming to you from Bloomington, Minnesota.
Water power. For nearly 100 years, Canadian General Electric has been helping turn this natural resource into electricity, bringing progress to Canadians. Today, CGE is Canada's leader in high-voltage technology, which transmits that power more efficiently than ever before to industries like this giant steel mill, where it's put to work, helping provide products and jobs for Canadians. Progress for people from Canadian General Electric.
Kevin Maxwell for holding at .344, so the Calgary Flames have a great opportunity to get back in this hockey game. That goal by Ciccarelli, by the way, his 8th of the playoffs, his first in this particular series, and it ties the NHL record for goals by a rookie set last year by Steve Kristoff. On the face-off, it's cleared down the ice. 11 power play chances have been squandered in this series, Gary, by Calgary.
Well, the Flames, in their practice yesterday, they worked an extra half an hour on the power play, but McNeil felt we're not taking the shots when they're there. Let's see if they do anything different tonight.
Gage Menard in across the line, and there's no doubt they're going to miss Nielsen in these power play situations. He sets up a lot of their plays. Chouinard going back of the net. Knocked off the puck by Giles. He gets it back again. Chouinard continuing to control. Over on the wing, and it hopped over Reinhardt's stick, who was racing in from the point. Giles back of the net, runs into Willie Plett. Lever comes up with the puck to Plett. Plett is bodied out of the play. The loose puck picked up by Kent-Eric Anderson as he tried to clear it. It hopped over his stick and out of play. 1:11 is the time remaining in the penalty to Kevin Maxwell as we look at Willie Plett, who is a tower of strength in front of that goal, particularly in these shorthanded situations.
Well, you know that Plett is going to be in front of the net. Beaupre, how does he like having a guy like Willie Plett in front of him?
Well, you can see a few slashes and hacks from both those guys. I'm sure Willie's job is to try and disrupt the goalie. I think what the Flames are going to do with Willie or who's ever in front of the net, tying up the defenseman, you're going to see that far defenseman sneak in for the Flames like they tried that last time and just about clicked.
Chouinard in the center ice area. He shoots it in. A race for the loose puck. Hartsburg takes it back of his own goal. He's pinned in against the boards. Poked into the corner to McMillan out front, centered, but nobody was there, and it's picked off by Minnesota and fired the length of the ice. Now it's Chouinard. A pass up on the right side for Houston. Houston to McMillan. Over on the wing. LeBratton going for the goal. A shot and a save by Beaupre. LeBratton tried to center it with Beaupre out of position. It hit the side of the net and winds up under Maxwell. Now let's go to New York. There's action between the Rangers and the Islanders. Here's Jim Gordon.
Nystrom took a piece out of Beck. Bickler sends one ahead. Duguay chasing it into the corner. Pass out to Merrick. Hit by Talavas, but the Islanders will break again. 2-on-2. Feed right side. Nystrom. Nystrom looks to center. He does. Score! Tonelli. And the Islanders continue to play fantastic hockey.
34 seconds left in the penalty to Kevin Maxwell.
I guess the Islanders are trying to do it in 4 straight, get that series over with so they can get a little rest. Off to a good start.
Yes, I'm sure they'd like to have a few days off and see this series go 7 games.
You know, the key, I think, here is to bother Beaupre in front of the net. Gilles Meloche said that sometimes Beaupre will lose his concentration because he's busy hacking at the ankles and doesn't follow the puck. So I'm sure that Willie Plett or Ken Houston will certainly have this in mind and try to take advantage of it.
You goaltenders wouldn't do something like that, would you, Chico?
Not so you can notice.
Here's a shot by Chouinard. It hits someone in front, and it's cleared down the ice by Minnesota. Chouinard goes back in his own net. Chouinard gets it ahead to Lever. Lever shoots it in. A race for the puck in the corner. McMillan tried to poke it back at the net to Plett. However, a Minnesota player gets there first, and Broughton tries to bring it out. Broughton has it poked away from him at the line by Russell. Barrett goes into the corner with it, and as Barrett tries to clear it, it goes up over the glass and out of play. And the Minnesota North Stars are back at full strength.
0-12. It's hard to believe, and not really any good shots. And I think the Calgary Flames have to lose a lot of discipline. You know, when they get that puck in the corner, make sure that pass is on somebody's stick, not just throw it away blind in that slot area.
That's right. Al McNeil was saying that the North Star defensemen are tying up the 2 guys in front. So there should be a seam between the defenseman in front and the high guys on the point on the power play, and that's what they're going to have to try and go to, and I think they tried to, but it just wasn't able to set it up.
Giles, a lead pass into the center ice area, goes off McAdam, and it's fired back in by Calgary. Giles will try it again. It's fired into the Calgary zone. Hislop goes back to the net. Hislop is tied up. Puck is poked up along the boards. Mike Dwyer, called up from Wichita of the Central Hockey League for this game. Going for the goal. However, over on the wing, Poplinski was unable to center it, and they fall in the corner and tie it up for a face-off.
Tough spot to put Mike Dwyer in, taking the place of Kent Nilsson, but he had a very successful year in the minor leagues. 24 goals, 42 assists during the regular season, and you saw his stats for the playoffs. One thing that this young fellow has is a lot of speed. He can skate, used on the left wing tonight.
He was originally drafted by Colorado after playing his junior hockey with Niagara Falls. In the Minnesota zone, Clement had it knocked away, and Bobby Smith breaks out for Minnesota. Smith in across the line. A drop pass for Gordy Roberts. He overskated it, and it's brought back by Dwyer. Dwyer tried to feed it back to the line to Clement. It's picked off by Smith. Smith with McAdam. In across the line. Smith trying to go around Hislop. Centers it in front. They jam away at it. And Lemelin had it in his pads momentarily and then steered it back of the net. Another shot, and Smith cutting for the goal almost deflected the blast by Payne. Here's McAdam with a chance, and he banned on it as he was set up in the slot. Now it's Russell bringing it in across the line. He goes into the corner after it. He's hammered in against the boards by both Payne and Maxwell. Poplinski gets it to Gould, and his shot is over top of the net. There you see some of the harassment that Beaupre is undergoing. We have a delayed penalty call. Calgary Flames trying to get that extra attacker out of there. Lemelin wasn't sure who the call was against for a while. And finally, the puck is touched by Minnesota, and Minnesota will be penalized. This is Hockey Night in Canada from Bloomington, Minnesota.
With everything Canadian Tire sells, you might think our name should be Canadian Auto Parts. And fishing. Sporting goods. And camping. And plumbing. And houseware. And home improvement. And hardware. But you can call us Canadian Tire for short. There's a lot more to Canadian Tire than tires.
Well, Gordy Roberts drew the cross-checking call, and that was the result of Phil Russell standing in front of the net bothering Beaupre.
Well, remember in Game 7, that was the key to the Flames' success, was letting the Flyers draw the penalty. There you saw it with Gordy Roberts on the cross-check, and was Sam Knorr, who is a real pistol, was he ever hollering at the officials after that call?
Well, another power play chance. This is number 13 in the series for Calgary. Puck is cleared down the ice. Chouinard goes back after it. Up on the wing to Houston. Houston has to retreat into his own zone to try and get organized. 12 minutes remaining in the period. 1-0 Minnesota leading. The pass intercepted by Minnesota and fired back down the ice. Lemelin almost cleared it onto the stick of Kent-Eric Anderson. Anderson does come up with the puck and flips it back into his own zone to Maxwell. 1:20 left in the penalty. Chouinard in the center ice area. Chouinard trying to dump it ahead for LeBratton. Beaupre way out of his net to play it. As he tried to clear it, it hit a player, and he was fortunate that he had some help back there and taking it off on the wing. Now it's Hartsburg bringing it in. Hartsburg in the Calgary zone. He finally has it poked off his stick. He gets it back again and shoots it back into Calgary territory. Very effective penalty killing by the Minnesota North Stars. Now, along the boards, Maxwell stepped into LeBratton, and that prompted a response from the crowd. A capacity house at the Met Center. Here's a chance now for Willie Plett. He shoots the save by Beaupre. He went in alone, and Beaupre stopped him. Chouinard from the line, a shot and a glove save by Beaupre. He hangs on for the face-off with Plett and LeBratton at the goal mouth. Well, Chico, the little guy, has certainly come up with 2 big saves on this power play.
He's got a lot of enthusiasm, and he hasn't had a lot of work. Really, his first tough save here is going to be a breakaway by Willie Plett, and I think Willie's going to try and go right through the legs here. But you'll see Donnie Beaupre got his knees down on the ice. Now the puck, a bad pass out to the point. You're going to see him have to get in position because Guy Chouinard is going to take another shot, which he's going to make the save and fall on. And he electrifies this crowd with his acrobatics.
Well, again, Gilles Meloche said he is the showman. He likes to put on the show in front of his hometown fans. He is doing just that. It looks like Beaupre goes down. I would think that the place to put it is upstairs, high.
Well, we have Mike Liut of the St. Louis Blues with us here in the Met Center for tonight's game as well. And between periods, Chico and Mike will be talking about goaltending, and the very thing we saw right there, Chico, the save by Beaupre as they tried to go between the legs.
That's right. Maybe he was looking for it. It's a tough... You almost have to guess. Beaupre's got to guess on Plett there that he's going to go through the legs. Otherwise, he's going to score.
31 seconds left in the penalty. 2 excellent scoring chances by Calgary. However, Don Beaupre came up with 2 big saves, and the Flames organized their attack again. Kevin Lavallee going back to the net, feeding it out front. Here's a chance, a shot, they score! Moving in from the point and blasting it home, Phil Russell.
Well, that's one of the reasons that Kevin Lavallee is out there in the power play. Possesses a great amount of speed. Everybody goes for that puck. Now the puck will go back to the point. Look at 5 North Star players behind the net. And that looks like Ronick Kallio that picked up that loose puck and just fired it home. But that time, Beaupre had no chance.
Well, he misses the pass out here. See there, and that kind of created the opportunity. He should have maybe stopped that pass from getting out to the slot. Then, of course, his own man took him out of the play. He had no chance.
So it's tied at 1, and finally the Calgary Flames hit the board on a power play
goal. 1 for 13.
Both goals tonight as a result of the power play. Now it's Payne along the boards, dumping it out to center ice. Brad Marsh in the center ice area. He shoots it in. Lever and Lavallee drawing assists on the power play goal by Ronick Kallio. Now a right wing pass for McAdam. McAdam with just Marsh back. He tried to drop it for Bobby Smith. And it was knocked out to center ice. Now a rink-wide pass, and they whistle the play down in the center ice area as it was played ahead with a glove. With the score, Calgary 1, Minnesota 1. This is Stanley Cup 81.
LN7.
It's time.
It's time for an entirely new, fuel-efficient driving machine. LN7.
The 1982 Mercury LN7 Sport Coupe. The science, the technology, the design. The most aerodynamic of all standard-equipped North American cars on the road today.
LN7. LN7 recaptures the romance between you and your car.
It's time for LN7. Now at your Mercury dealers.
Strap one on.
The face-off just outside the Calgary line. The score is tied at 1 with 9:53 left in this first period.
Another example of the versatility of the Calgary Flame forwards. You got Bobby McMillan now playing center ice, so he can move around to a lot of different positions.
Well, Coach Glenn Sonmore of the North Stars was talking about McMillan. He had him, of course, in the WHA with the Minnesota Fighting Saints, and he used him at center there. Play in the Calgary zone. Kristoff bodied off the puck, picked up by Brad Marsh for Calgary. Over on the right side, fired in by Murdoch. Beaupre out of his net, playing it up along the boards. It's lost in front of the net and then picked up by Minnesota. Now it's Palmer with a long shot that is deflected to the corner by Lemelin. They try and center it again, and it's picked off by Calgary. Ken Houston, pass to Murdoch, in across the line. Murdoch and Hartsburg go in against the boards. It was centered and then cleared by Maxwell. Now it's Palmer going back to the net to Maxwell. Maxwell back to Hartsburg. Calgary doing some forechecking here that seems to be disrupting the attack of the Minnesota North Stars. Murdoch steps into Hartsburg as it was flipped down the ice. Now it's brought back by Calgary. A long shot steered to the goal mouth. Slipped to the corner there by Beaupre. They fight for it along the board. Cicerelli, who scored the North Stars' first goal, comes up with it. He's upset by Kevin LaValle, and the penalty against Calgary. Hockey Night in Canada will continue in a moment.
Getting away with a friend or two, taking the day to spend with you. Every minute has some good times in it, and now they're rolling away. There's a breakaway kind of beer with a taste that's clean and clear. Molson Canadian, a great Canadian breakaway.
A hooking call against Kevin LaValle with 8:29 left in the period.
Now you see Dino Cicerelli getting those legs going, trying for goal number 2, but he was hauled down by LaValle. So we've got another power play for the North Stars.
Going back into his own zone is Brad Maxwell. North Stars have Smith, McAdam, and Payne out there up front. Picked up in the corner, out front to Smith. He shot it wide. McAdam takes it off the end boards to the line to Maxwell. He shoots, it's deflected by McAdam, and just getting a skate over to that post was Reggie Lemelin. And it's cleared down the ice by Calgary with Brad Maxwell going back for it.
Chico, it seems that the North Stars are using their defensemen to shoot the puck wide, have the wingers cutting in front, trying for that deflection.
You've got to get those defensemen involved.
Now it's Hartsburg going back at his own goal. Jamie Hislop doing a good job of forechecking. Into the center ice area with 1:03 left in the penalty. Steve Payne, he loses it. And it's knocked down the ice by Brad Marsh into the Minnesota zone. Now Bobby Smith starts out, dodging a check from McMillan. Smith in across the line, going to the corner, trying to play it back to the point. It's intercepted by Clement, fired down the ice. 39 seconds left in the penalty to Kevin LaValle. Bert Giles has it for Minnesota back of his own goal. 7:02 the time remaining in this first period. The score is tied at 1. Ciccarelli in across the line, drop pass. A shot that goes off a skate to the corner. Picked up by Broughton. Broughton was looking for Kristoff, who was positioned in front of the net. He had difficulty controlling it. Now it's Roberts. Back to Broughton, moving in over to Kristoff. He scores! Excellent fake by Broughton to set up Kristoff.
Now, Neil Broughton had a fantastic game the other night, and he continues to impress us with his playmaking. Just throws the goaltender, Lemelin, no chance.
No, he's winding up. Lemelin's got to come out and play that angle. And I thought he was going to shoot it, so I'm sure Reggie did. And just a great play, a nice shot across.
Did it look to you like Lemelin kind of stumbled when he was pushing off to get back to the other side? Or
Well,
had
you know,
his feet too far apart and couldn't move?
Well, no, Gary, you're so set for the shot that when it's thrown across, you know it's coming quickly, and you're just trying to scramble across there, and a lot of times you can't come across very smoothly.
So 2 power play goals for Minnesota. Steve Kristoff getting his 6th goal of the playoffs to put the North Stars ahead 2-1.
Must remind you that the Rangers are behind 1-0 to the Islanders on a goal by Tonelli. And we remind you that as the goals occur at Madison Square Garden, you'll be having a look at them.
John Tonelli from Nystrom, the goal scorer at Madison Square Garden as the Islanders lead it 1-0. It's shot into the Calgary zone. McCarthy steps into Reinhard and bumps him into the boards. It's brought back out by Calgary. Guy Chouinard, he loses it. Anderson going to the corner, trying to feed it across to McCarthy. Maxwell puts it back into the corner. McCarthy goes in to the line. A long shot by Greg Smith just goes wide. Along the boards, Calgary trying to get it out, kept in by Anderson, and finally Rattocalio, who has scored the first Calgary goal, brings it out to center ice. Now in the center ice area, Maxwell over to Anderson. Anderson on the right side to Payne. Payne with a shot, and it went off the stick of Rattocalio to the corner. The Finnish defenseman goes back of the net to Reinhard. Reinhard, a lead pass to Gould. He had difficulty controlling it, finally got it to Chouinard. He overskated it, and it's loose at center ice with 5:37 left in the opening period. Minnesota leading by a score of 2-1. All 3 goals in the game. The result of the power play, 2 by Minnesota, 1 by Calgary. Murdoch in his own zone. A lead pass to Poplinski. Poplinski to LaValle. He winds up. He just missed the far corner. Murdoch takes the shot. It's deflected wide. LaValle feeds it in front. Here's Gould. The shot, the save. The puck loose in front of the net. And finally it's cleared out by Gord Roberts. A race for the loose puck. It's deflected. Picked up by Bobby Smith. This winds up the save by Lemelin. He hangs on. Well, Calgary came very close to tying it. From Bloomington, Minnesota, the Stanley Cup playoffs.
Thank you. Come again. One family bucket, please.
Excuse me, would you call yourself a frequent buyer of Kentucky Fried Chicken?
My family could eat the Colonel's chicken every night of the week.
I guess that would cost a bit.
Well, I don't know. When you consider the price of food these days, Kentucky Fried Chicken's a really good buy. Oh, Mary, better give me a large coleslaw as well, please.
Say, you are a regular customer. Don't you ever buy any other chicken?
Oh, we've tried them all. But at our house, the only chicken's Kentucky Fried Chicken. There's nothing like it.
Don Whitman along with Gary Dornhofer, Chico Resch, Dave Hodge, and our special guest tonight, Mike Liut, at the Met Center in Bloomington. Back to the line. Maxwell with a drive. It's deflected. Picked up off the glass by Russell. He's having some difficulty controlling it. It goes loose in the corner to Palmer. Palmer trying to play it back to the net to Broughton. It's picked off by McMillan, who gets it ahead to Houston. Houston back into the center ice area to Murdoch. Murdoch flips it in. McMillan racing into the corner after it, along with Kristoff. Kristoff takes it to the boards, and they succeed in holding it there for a faceoff.
You know, so far, as we look at Kristoff, the goal scorer on that power play, give the North Stars that 2-1 lead. It's been Minnesota, a shot total of 15-4 at this point. And it seems that North Stars are just a step ahead of the Calgary Flames, getting in on top of them, getting that puck first. So the Calgary Flames certainly have to pick up the tempo just a little bit.
But despite the fact they have been outshot by that wide margin, just moments ago they came very close to tying it up. McMillan in the face-off circle. Glenn Sonmore, somewhat more relaxed than the last time we saw him, protesting at that Minnesota bench over a penalty call to Gordy Roberts. Greg Hartford plays it ahead to Giles. Drop pass. Palmer took a shot. It's knocked down. And Phil Russell brings it out to center ice to Murdoch. Murdoch has his shot deflected by Hartford to the corner. Murdoch and Hartford jostle in the corner. The puck is loose there. LeBrotten is knocked down, and finally they force another face-off in the Minnesota zone. And some shoving continues after the whistle involving Hartford and Murdoch. Now all of the players get in there.
We have seen some good hits in tonight's game by both teams. North Stars not noted for their aggressive play, but they have thrown some good checks.
I think they were the aggressor there.
This Stanley Cup playoff game is coming to you from Bloomington, Minnesota.
You don't have to be a genius to change your own oil and filter and save yourself up to $10. Valvoline Motor Oil shows you exactly how quick and easy it is with step-by-step change instructions on the back of Valvoline cans. It's really quite simple once you get the hang of it. Just see for yourself, then do for yourself. No wonder more and more drivers are changing to Valvoline. It's a smart way to save up to 10 bananas without a lot of monkeying around. Right, Val?
Well, Murdoch and Hartsburg draw the penalties as they continue that shoving match in the corner.
Well, they certainly did have a good match. And referee Bob Myers, he doesn't want anything to erupt, so puts them both in the box. But Lou Nanne, when he talks about Greg Hartsburg with a lot of pride, he says that fellow has the potential to be a real superstar. The poise he has back behind that blue line.
This young fella, since getting into the Calgary lineup late in the Philadelphia series, has certainly performed well, hasn't he, Gary?
Certainly has. Well, that when you have that the good skating ability, you know, the legs, he's surprised how he can break into those openings, get that pass, and he has a good shot, as he's shown tonight.
Back to the line. Reinhart winds up. Knocked down in front. The puck goes to the boards. Smith and Lever fighting for it. Gould is bumped in against the boards. The puck goes loose. And it's picked up by McCarthy. McCarthy into the center ice area to Anderson. Anderson across the line. Drop pass for Smith. Shot. And Lemelin makes the save. Played back to the line. Barrett could not get there, and it's dumped into the neutral zone. Fred Barrett, the veteran of the Minnesota Defensive Corps, is back there into the center ice area. His pass knocked down by Rado Kallio, and he shoots it into the Minnesota zone. Smith goes back to the net as he touches it. Icing is called against Calgary.
You know, Chico, you want your defenseman to challenge at that blue line. You ever holler at your defenseman, stand up, stand up? I'm sure you've yelled that phrase out many a time.
Well, you do, and especially here, the North Stars, as you were watching, love to drop the puck. And if the defenseman back in with the guy who has the puck and he drops it, they're both going to arrive at the net, and the guy who dropped the puck to is going to be able to move into the top of the circle like we saw in that last play, a defenseman, and shoot the puck from a very good position.
By the way, Chico, congratulations on your new 4-year contract just inked yesterday. Here's a chance for Minnesota to score! Bobby Smith.
Well, Bobby Smith puts some neat moves, but it's the responsibility of the center iceman to stay with his man. Bobby Smith got past McMillan, and then you'll notice Rado Kallio got tied up by Al McAdam, so he was home free, and what an individual move by Bobby Smith. That long reach certainly helps, doesn't it?
It sure did there. He was almost to the boards behind the net when he came around and stuffed that in.
Sixth goal of the playoffs for Bobby Smith as Minnesota has taken a 3-1 lead. Now it's Giles in his own zone. Rink-wide pass for Gordy Roberts. Roberts into Bobby Smith. He tried to set up McAdam, who was cutting in on the right side. And it was broken up by Calgary. Mike Dwyer brings it out. Dwyer drops it back for Reinhart. He took a shot. Dwyer goes back to the net. Out front, Rado Kallio just fired it wide. Now it's Reinhart in the corner, taken in against the boards by Smith. The puck is played to the other side. Gordy Roberts being watched by Chouinard. The puck loose in the corner, and Smith comes back to pick it up for Minnesota. Smith skating as well tonight as he did on Sunday. Cutting for the goal, a backhand shot deflected in behind the net. Smith has it again. Controlling things. Out front, a deflection, and just getting a piece of that shot by McAdam was goaltender Lemelin. In against the boards, it's picked up by Russell. His pass knocked down by Broughton at the line, and Broughton fired it back into the Minnesota zone. Fred Barrett is there to play it up along the boards for Greg Smith. To Broughton. Broughton almost collided with Palmer in the center ice area as the two teams return to full strength. Now it's Lavalley in his own zone. He loses it to Palmer, and then Palmer has it taken away. It's loose in the Calgary zone. The Flames just a little sloppy inside their own line. It's fired into Minnesota territory. Along the boards, Kevin Lavalley is knocked off the puck. It's picked up by Gould. Gould trying to move out front. He gets it out front, and the bouncing puck is grabbed and held by Beaupre. Now we have another shoving match going on, this one involving Jim Paplinski
and Barrett.
Fred Barrett and Greg Smith are also there. With 1:42 remaining in the period. Well, let's find out about our first intermission from Dave Hodge.
Well, appropriately, we'll be talking to Bobby Smith of the Minnesota North Stars. Don talked about Chico Resch and Mike Liut on the ice earlier today. We'll show you what they did, what they talked about, and if it is possible and there is action in New York, we'll go and give you highlights of the Islanders and the Rangers.
Yes, Dave, and 1-0 is the score. The Islanders leading on a first period goal by John Tonelli. The puck stolen at the side of the net. Barrett's going to get a penalty as he upended Paplinski.
Well, I would have to say that is a good penalty to take, or Paplinski would have been all alone against Beaupre.
Well, it is. Freddie Barrett loses the puck by the side of the net, and Paplinski's behind him with a clean shot, and Freddie just reaches around, pulls the legs out from under him, and you're right, that's considered a good penalty.
There you see it, coming out. That's why coaches, they just cringe when the defenseman carries that puck out. Like to see it passed up to the winger or up the middle to the center iceman. Guy Chouinard thought that the key to the Calgary power play was to get one early, to give every guy a little more confidence. They did score in their second time at the power play. Hopefully that'll help.
Chouinard with a shot. It's deflected to the corner. In back of the net, Willie Platt having difficulties with Hartsburg. Referee Bob Myers also gets tangled up with the two players. And it's played around to the other side and then banged down the ice by Kevin Maxwell. Well, I'm sure the Flames feel they have finally broken the jinx, going 12 successive occasions without scoring on the power play. Here's McMillan just firing it wide. Now Reinhardt back at the point, playing it in behind the goal for Platt. He ties up his man. It's out front to Lever. He couldn't get a shot away. And Broughton puts it off the boards to center ice, but Chouinard gets back. Chouinard tried to pass for McMillan. It was intercepted by Maxwell. He, in turn, had his pass picked off, and it's brought out by Chouinard. Across the line, Chouinard going to the corner, feeding it out for Willie Platt, and it's intercepted by Broughton. Broughton to Palmer. Palmer trying to go around the defenseman. It comes to Broughton, a backhand shot, and it's fired wide. Here's Platt starting back with 27 seconds left in the period. To Lever. Lever tried to drop it for Platt. It goes loose, and then it's cleared to center ice. 19 seconds remaining in the period. Platt in across the line. Here's a 2-on-1 situation. Lavalley. Lavalley went too deep, and when he took the shot, Beaupre made the save.
Looked like a moment of indecision by Kevin Lavalley. Should I shoot it right away, or should I wait till Beaupre is down? By the time he made up his mind, there was nothing to shoot at.
Good play by both players, actually. It's not a bad play to hang on to the puck, thinking that the goaltender's coming out, you'll be able to go around him. But Donnie Beaupre, as you saw, was falling with Kevin. So when Kevin got in a position when he finally wanted to shoot, he realized he was behind the red line. Then he tried to dump it out and didn't get it high enough, and Donnie grabbed it with his glove.
Actually, all LaValle had to do was slip it right back across the other side, and there would have been a wide open goal because the Flames had a man breaking down that right side again for a return pass. But, you know, you can only think about so many things when you're going in on top of the goaltender.
Well, that's true, and that's just another example. Things have not clicked for Calgary on their power play. They haven't been getting the breaks, and that just all seems to add up to the whole thing with their power play. Nothing seems to be going right.
Just 10 seconds remaining in the period. Back to the line. Russell winds up right on the save by Beaupre. Back to the line to Radicalio. He winds up. It's deflected wide. 1 second left, and that will end the first period. Some good action here at the net center. 19-8, a rather wide margin favoring the Minnesota North Stars in shots on goal. And the fans respond to the efforts of the North Stars during the opening 20 minutes. And so the score at the end of the first period is Minnesota 3, Calgary 1.
Ride with the wind and flow like a wave, giving it more than I ever gave. Good times are here for the...
With today's kind of fuel economy.
Capture something completely new.
Mercury Cougar at the sign of the cap.
The North Stars haven't lost a playoff game in which they had scored the first goal, and they certainly hope that trend will continue tonight. The power play goals keep coming from Minnesota as well. 2 more in the first period. It's Minnesota 3. And the Flames won with the North Stars having a wide edge in shots on goal, 19-8. They haven't stopped raving about Bobby Smith's performance in Game 3, and there's no reason they should, the way he's playing tonight. A goal and an assist thus far. Bob, we'd like to look at your goal, and I don't know if you can tell us what you're thinking because there's hardly time to think as quickly as that goal went in. But are you trying to do that when you get set for the draw?
Yeah, I didn't want to draw that puck back to Roberts because Reinhart was on the wing and it was 4-on-4, so we didn't have a chance to get a winger on him, so I figured at least I'd keep the puck going in front of me so they wouldn't come out with a 3-on-2 break, and as it was, it fell nicely right in behind McMillan, and I was all alone on Lemler.
Okay, as I said, we had hoped to be able to show you that Bobby Smith goal, and as we continue to hope, maybe it will appear in your screens, and you can add to what you've said or say it again.
Reinhart over there by himself, and if I can, I want to keep the puck from going over there, so I focus through McMillan, and see Radicalio has to go out there, and so I've got a lot of room to do what I want. And it's nice to be ahead 3-1.
Bob, the talk after Game 3 was that the old Bobby Smith had returned, not that you'd been away, but certainly you'd been away from the line of Steve Payne and Al McAdam, and it was said that you'd answered a challenge in Tim Young's absence. I'm not sure you thought it was quite that dramatic, but how did you react to what transpired in Game number 3, and obviously one of your best games ever here?
Well, certainly I really felt good on the ice in the third game, and as you say, going into that game, I knew there was going to be a large void without Tim Young playing, because not only has he done so much for the team offensively, but he's been our top defensive center since the playoffs started as well, and so I knew there'd be a large load on me, and Coach Glenn Sonmore told me I'd be getting extra ice time, and I really got myself ready for that game, and I was really pleased to be able to contribute to a win. But Game 3 is over, and what we're worried about now is the last 40 minutes of Game 4, and if we're ahead when that time is up, we'll really be in good shape.
There seems a large degree of flexibility on this team. The way the injuries have happened and the way people have filled in, the way the rookies have come up and blended together very quickly. I'm sure it has helped you to have played with Payne and McAdam and also to have played with Carlson and Ciccarelli and other line mates, which in previous years wasn't the case when that one line was together almost all the time.
No question. Once you get playing virtually every game of my pro career with the same two wingers, you might get into patterns that other teams can see and you can't see, and it was a good opportunity for me to be able to sit on the bench and watch those two guys operate out there, and I realized what excellent wingers they are in every facet of the game, both of them, and gave me a chance to realize maybe how I could use them a little bit more, and with the result that when we got back together, we were fresh rather than suffering from having been apart.
Now, would your style, as opposed to Young's, represent any change for the wingman?
I think so. I carry the puck more than Timmy, although I'm trying to move it to my wingers to take some pressure off me and to get them playing to the best of their abilities, because I've seen how they can operate when they get the puck more, and that's certainly what I've tried to do a little bit more in the last two games.
Well, you've done it very, very well. Bobby Smith, a goal and an assist as the North Stars lead tonight, 3-1 at the end of one period of play. In just a moment, we'll show you what took place on the ice earlier today when Chico and Gary Dornhofer got together with Mike Liu to the St. Louis Blues. Hockey Night in Canada will continue in just a moment.
There's a company here in Canada that makes an amazing product for your car's engine. It can improve your car's fuel efficiency, give you quicker starts, even help your car run better. And the cost of 4 is about the same as the price of an oil change. A revolutionary new device? No. It's a fresh set of Champion spark plugs. Think about it next time you're at the pumps. Champions can make a difference. Champion, the world's #1 seller.
Name's Bob Riley. Been a professional guide going on 30 years. Spent half my life fishing Old Horseshoe Lake. Fish bite here like no place else. So do the bugs. So I pack a pro, Deep Woods Off. Because around here, black flies and mosquitoes got teeth like a chainsaw. But Deep Woods Off's tougher. It's 100% repellent. Take it from old Bob. Deep Woods Off works. It's made by pros, used by pros.
Please watch closely. This is the fastest developing color film in the world. Polaroid's new Time Zero Super Color.
Ah,
You first see the image in 10 seconds. And here comes the color.
it's coming fast.
Look at that purple come up, and the red and yellow.
And it's so sharp.
It all happens in just seconds. It's a great new reason to buy a Polaroid camera.
You know, you look a lot better there than you really do.
Time Zero.
Now, from Eveready, the Energizer.
We took the Energizer test, and we were impressed. We put premium Energizers in my photo flash and regular carbon batteries in the other. Watch this. The Energizers gave us 10 times more flashes than our regular batteries. 10 times. We're convinced there's no other battery like the Energizer.
The Energizer, Energizer. For life.
A lot longer life.
Good goaltending is the name of the game in the playoffs, and both teams have made that goaltending change. Beaupre for the North Stars and Lemelin for the Calgary Flames. And screenshot, #1, I guess that causes a lot of problems for goaltenders.
Well, it does, Gary. We goalies miss a lot of goals that we can see, so you know it's going to be trouble when we can't see them.
And another area, Mike, that we've talked about so often is that shot between the goaltender's legs.
Well, a lot of times people tend to shrug at that shot between the legs, but it is a tough save to make, and it happens when there's a change on the angle and the goalie gets caught moving out or moving across the net.
Well, let's give a demonstration once, Mike, and perhaps you can show us the way Beaupre plays when he's in the net.
Beaupre's a player where he plays like Tony Esposito, and he gets his knees locked together here, and he really takes away the ice along his feet or beside his feet, but he gives you that spot between the legs.
Think I can put it through there?
Right there. And what happens is that he really can't move them, and it'll happen when he moves from the center of the ice to the angle and his legs are locked in there, and he doesn't get a chance to get his ankles together, and that's where the pucks are going. They're going right off his ankle.
How do you work that?
Well, what I try to do is I have the space in between there, but I don't have my knees locked together where I can get them back together.
Okay, what about behind the net, that pass and that man in the slot area?
Well, the man in the slot area is that change of angle, and the guy in front of the net tries to release the puck as soon as he gets it, and the goalie gets caught moving out. Like that. And when he's moving out, he really can't move his feet or get set for the shot, and he isn't set for the shot because the play is coming from behind the net. His only other alternative is to get set and try and make the save, but what he happens is he gets caught too deep in the net, and he's worried about taking away all the other angles, and he forgets about that spot between his legs.
Okay, Chico, you're next. Center stage. And the screenshot. You know, we've watched Willie Plett and Ken Houston do a lot of this, and they've been successful. How does a goaltender defend?
Well, I'll tell you, Gary, there's two types of screenshots. The deliberate one, like you say, when Houston and Plett, they jam the front of the net. You used to do it a lot. There's a screenshot when the forward uses the defenseman as a screen, and then there's just a screenshot that happens when a guy skates across in front of the net. Now, tonight you're going to see two different style goalies trying to play that screenshot differently. You got a guy like Donnie Beaupre. When the screenshot's coming, 9 out of 10 times, he's going to try and cover low. He's going to say percentages are they're going to shoot low. He's going to look around you, spread those legs out, get down low and try and look. Reggie Lemelin, on the other hand, him being a stand-up goalie, he's going to look around you, Gary. He's going to get down, but he's not going to spread those legs. He's going to just look around you. One guy is saying, if you're going to shoot, you're going to have to get the puck up. like Donnie Beaupre. He said, you're going to beat me on a screenshot, it's going to have to be high because I'm covering low. Reggie Lemelin saying, I'm going to try and cover everything. It's just a matter of preference.
Well, that's good. Okay, now, what about if the man is out a little deeper?
Well, then another problem arises.
For the deflection.
The puck can also be deflected as well as screened. And, Gary, that's why the screenshot is one of the most demanding bits of concentration for a goalie, because you don't see the puck. You've got to look around, guys. A lot of times you're fighting somebody, and it involves the greatest amount of concentration to try and watch and pick up that shot a lot of times after it's left the guy's stick, and maybe, you know, a foot or two from your body. So it's really the toughest shot for a goalie.
I think what everybody would like to know, Chico, is how do you eliminate the man from in front of the net, that screen?
Well, this isn't entirely legal, but it's sure the most effective way, Gary.
I'm sure we'll see a lot of screening going on in the game tonight. Not so much the stick work, but thank you for joining us, Chico.
Enjoyed that hitting.
Did somebody mention Billy Smith? I'm not sure he's having too much traffic in front of his net in the other series. We're going to take you to Madison Square Garden and show you what has been happening between the Islanders and the Rangers, and the action is not in Billy Smith's end.
Fontan with McEwen's pass. Dennis unable to put it in front. He and Duguay went to the corner together. Bossy picked it up. Bossy comes out in front. Shooting, he scores! Gillies parked in front, and Bossy has made it 2-0.
Mike Bossy puts the Islanders up by 2. We'll return with the Stanley Cup playoffs in just a moment.
Look out, Canada. You're in for a surprise. Watch while Ford Fairmont challenges the competition with 4-cylinder engine, electronic ignition, rack and pinion steering, McPherson strut suspension, steel-belted radials. And listen, a Ford Fairmont SE with AM radio, power steering, power brakes, electric rear defroster, and white walls is priced $1,000 less than a comparably equipped Chevy Citation. Surprise, surprise.
The multi-mode Brute. Beautiful. In action, a Brute. A beauty to handle. A Brute that can side discharge, rear bag, mulch, or vacuum your lawn, your choice. And Brute enough to have a 3-year limited warranty. The multi-mode Brute. 4 beautiful machines in one.
You know Philishave is the shaver that's a cut above the rest. Now we're also the shaver that shaves a cut below the rest. That's because of our new lift and cut system. Every one of Philishave's 45 rotary action blades now has a lifter that gently lifts the hair while the cutter shaves it closer. The new Philishave with the lift and cut system. Now you don't have to get wet to get close.
Just perchance you perceive, since Perry, Paul, Pam, Penny, Peter, and Patrick picked the pleasure pack, that your name must begin with P to purchase one. Relax. Susan picked the pleasure pack. Marty picked the pleasure pack. Ernie and Diane picked the pleasure pack. Jack picked the pleasure pack. And Perry picked the Molson's pleasure pack.
We're in the first intermission at Bloomington, Minnesota. The North Stars trying for a series lead that would look just like that. That's the score at the end of one period of play here in game number 4, Minnesota versus Calgary. And there's more action at Madison Square Garden in New York. When last we checked in, the Islanders are up 2-0.
A minute 10 left in the penalty time against John Hughes.
Islanders can't get control of the puck. They are not all going up at the same time. One of the few times we've seen that happen. The other night against a 5-on-3, the Rangers looked outstanding at that particular time. There's the playoff penalty killing by the Rangers. That's up to date, right up to date from the penalty that you have now, or that Hughes has. And the Islanders power play, 43.
And look out, there's Bossy with a backhander, and it's 3-0.
Well, twice Hughes has drawn an infraction against Michael Bossy, and twice Bossy has stung the Rangers. Hughes gets a charging penalty. Bossy scores a power play goal.
And Hughes gets a roughing penalty on Bossy, and this time a backhand shot beats Baker to the left side as Mike Bossy lets go a backhand shot, gets another power play goal, and the New York Islanders have a 3-0 lead here in the first period. 2:49, 2 power play goals, both by Mike Bossy, have put the Islanders out in front, 3-0.
Well, Mike Bossy is closing in on the playoff scoring record set last season by his teammate and line mate, Brian Trottier. Those 2 goals against the Rangers in tonight's game give Bossy 27 playoff points. Trottier's record last year was 29, and of course, there's a long way to go for the Islanders. Another series, it would seem, unless the Rangers can make a miraculous comeback now. So Bossy's almost certain to break it, but that doesn't say he'll be the only one. Trottier is piling up some points, too. It's 3-0 there. It's 3-1 here for the home team, the Minnesota North Stars. We're getting set for the second period. Let's send it back to the booth to Don Whitman, Gary Dornhofer, and Glenn Resch.
Dino Ciccarelli started things off for the North Stars with a power play goal at 3:01. Then Calgary finally clicked on the power play. Ratacalio. Another power play tally by Kristoff, and that beautiful solo effort by Bobby Smith late in the period. And the wide margin in shots on goal. Minnesota outshooting the Flames 19-8. I don't think there's much doubt that this evening the Calgary Flames are definitely missing Kent Nielsen at center.
Well, I certainly think that he would help them in a lot of areas, especially handling that puck. It looks like the Flames are very nervous, very tight out there. They are not skating as well as the North Stars, and that certainly is the reason for that high shot total. I mean, the North Stars are completely outplaying them in that first period.
Well, that's right. I think from here on in, the Flames are going to have to concentrate on shutting the North Stars out. If they give up one more goal, they've still given up 4, so they can't really afford to open it up. The things aren't going well for them offensively, like you say, Gary. They're not skating real well. So therefore, they got to kind of pull back, try and pick away, keep things tight, don't give up anymore, and hopefully get 2 or 3 before the game's over.
Don, in that first period, it was very noticeable that when the Flames would break up the ice, very seldom did they have 3 men going at one time. There was only 2 forwards, and one was maybe 10, 15 feet behind. On the other hand, the North Stars always had a 3-man rush going, sometimes 4.
The Minnesota North Stars will start this second period a man short with Fred Barrett in the penalty box. Actually, he's not there. Steve Payne has taken his place because Barrett is having a skate repair. Now in the corner, it's Dan LeBratton back to the net. Houston was unable to control it. It's played up along the boards and banged down the ice by Neil Broughton. And the Minnesota North Stars seem to survive this penalty quite nicely as the penalized player steps back in the ice. The Broughton going back at the goal tried to center it. Now it's the Broughton with a chance again. He shoots right on, and Beaupre went down to make the save, and the rebound was cleared by Hartsburg. Ahead to Payne. Payne cutting in from the left side against Reinhart. Reinhart takes him in against the boards. Smith gets the puck. He tried to play it back to the point, but Roberts was not in position. The North Stars have to regroup in the center ice area. Puck is picked off by Poplinski of the Flames. He dumps it in across the line. Roberts has it over on the right side for Smith. He couldn't go anywhere with it, and it's brought back by Calgary. Willie Platt goes in behind the net. He's taken out of the play by Roberts. They go into the corner. 4 of them actually crash into the boards, and Roberts holds it there for a face-off.
I guess when you see something like that, Chico, you're glad that you're a goaltender.
I sure am.
We've seen some good hits here tonight. Willie Platt, of course, does a lot of it for the Calgary Flames. They depend so much upon this guy. Unfortunately, the shots have not been coming through from the point, so he hasn't had the opportunity to deflection. There is some tough body work going on. I guess that's what you call eliminating the man from the play.
Indeed, and except for two rather minor incidents, players have kept the sticks down, and there has not been any of the pushing and shoving that we see far too frequently. Lavalley moves into the face-off circle. Back to the line now to Marsh. Marsh has his shot deflected wide. Picked up along the boards by Palmer. Palmer to Broughton. Broughton has it poked away. Here's Hislop moving and he scores! Neil Broughton losing the puck just inside the line, and Jamie Hislop capitalized.
A big break that Calgary desperately needed here. We're going to see the North Star defenseman get poked off the puck here. A great poke check. Jamie Hislop's going to go up top, just what we talked about. As you see Beaupre go down, he fires that puck just over his pad. A big, big goal for Calgary.
Well, when Broughton was carrying that puck out, he should have been covered up by one of the defensemen, but you noticed in the play that the defenseman was on the same line as Broughton was, so once Hislop completed that poke check, he was home free.
Icing is called against Minnesota as the puck is fired down the ice, and the faceoff will take place back in the North Star zone to the left of Don Beaupre. Jamie Hislop set up beautifully with that poke check by Kevin LaValle.
Well, let's see what that goal does for the Calgary Flames. Actually, the very first shift that they had out there, they went charging. You saw Willie Plett get involved in the corner, and now the goal. Perhaps that's the lift that the Flames need in this second period.
Kevin LaValle in the face-off circle. He's going against Neil Broughton. LaValle gets the draw. He goes back to the net. Out to Hislop. Hislop couldn't get a good shot away, and the North Stars come back. Kristoff into the center ice area. Across the line. Putting on the break. Trying to go rink wide, and it's knocked away by Hislop. Hislop to Brad Marsh. Marsh dumps it into the Minnesota corner. Going in there after it is Fred Barrett. Barrett back of his own net. He's spun around by Dwyer. However, the North Stars still control the puck. A lead pass for Palmer. Palmer dodges a check from Marsh at the line. Pekka Radicalio with the puck into the center ice area. Dwyer fighting for it along the boards. The North Stars come up with it as Palmer shoots it in. North Stars making player changes as Radicalio turns in the corner. His pass to Gould. Over on the left side for Dwyer. Dwyer tried to feed it back to Gould. It's broken up by Minnesota. 17:25 left in this second period. Now here's Bobby Smith trying to go for the goal. The puck rolls loose. Picked up and deflected. They score!
Ciccarelli picked up a loose puck, but good strong forechecking again by the North Stars. Ciccarelli on the deflection, his own rebound. Tough break for the Flames, but you got to hand it to the North Stars. They keep coming at you, and there's not much you can do when the puck hits underneath the crossbar.
Well, this is set up by a giveaway, just what the Flames capitalized on. Reggie Lemlin makes a great save here, and you'll see Ciccarelli throw it right upstairs. Persistence paid off, and the fans here just love him.
Well, the Flames had the puck just inside their blue line, and the North Stars were charging in, were able to intercept, and result in a goal. And I guess the Flames, they have to slow down the wingers of the North Stars, interfere with them, get in front of them, give their defense a chance to get turned around and make that play. If that doesn't happen, there's going to be a lot of goals scored here tonight.
Ninth of the playoffs for Ciccarelli.
So he's broken the record, eh?
Yes, he has. Well, he was rather confident when we saw him prior to the game this morning, getting sticks ready. He was kibitzing with Tom McCarthy, and as we said at the start of the telecast, Minnesota players seem to be rather loose and optimistic.
Well, they're very confident, but you know, I like the kid. He came up to me this morning along the board. He said, "Was I all right on TV last night?" You know, that.
He also,
I wish I could have been on a little longer. You know, I just got started, and that was it.
He also said, since he's become so popular in Minnesota, he's got a lot of folks who claim to be relatives of his. All the Ciccarelli folks in Minnesota are phoning, and they're saying, by the way, have you got any tickets? Now it's Houston going into the corner, trying to center it. The puck loose in front of the net, and it's picked up by McCarthy. McCarthy, rink wide for Ciccarelli. Ciccarelli dodges a check from Russell, takes Russell in against the boards, but the puck comes back to LeBratton, and LeBratton starts out for Calgary. On the right side to Houston. Houston in across the line for Murdoch. Murdoch to Clement. Clement took a shot, and Houston, who was in front of the net, was spun around, and he couldn't get that puck that was flying loose. Now along the boards, picked up by Clement. Back to the line to Russell. Russell to Clement. Clement at the edge of the circle, having difficulty there with Hartsburg. Hartsburg finally comes up with the puck. He's going back of the net. Over to the other side, ahead to Bobby Smith. A 3-on-2 break for Minnesota. To McCarthy. McCarthy makes a nice move in front of net. They score! That's 3 for Ciccarelli.
Looks like the hat trick for Dino Ciccarelli. But all started in the Minnesota zone. A 3-on-2 break. That trailer was not there. The North Stars broke 3-on-2. You talked about Bobby Smith head-manning that puck. He did just that. A perfect pass to McCarthy to Ciccarelli. Well executed.
Well, that's too bad. This was a pretty innocent-looking play. You'll see Bob Murdoch a little over-anxious, charge the man, and then the pass across just goes under Phil Russell's stick here. Phil makes a nice play trying to cover all the ice, but, you know, it might just be coincidental. But remember, Riggin and Ciccarelli had this thing going. Ciccarelli was off his game. They removed Riggin. All of a sudden, Ciccarelli gets cocky again. He gets the goal. And believe me, a lot of times, just that change, he feels that Riggin isn't on his back, lifts his player, and it's, well, 3 goals for him already.
That's a good point. Here's Chouinard and a glove save by Beaupre. They jam in the corner, fighting for it. Finally, it's loose, and out comes Carlson for Minnesota. Carlson tried to pass over on the wing for Anderson, broken up by Calgary, but Anderson gets it back again. He's got Carlson with him. Anderson shoots, glove save by Lemelin, as Anderson was looking for that top corner. From Bloomington, Minnesota, this is Stanley Cup 81.
Are they prescription?
What? Oh, no, these are Foster Grants.
They flatter you.
Thanks.
May I?
It isn't quality alone that's made Foster Grant the biggest name in sunglasses. There's something about just wearing them that makes the world come on a little stronger.
What about my sunglasses?
I'll be staying at the Savoy.
Well, I think, Chico, you made an excellent point in your comment about Ciccarelli and the duel and the battle, a verbal exchange that he and Pat Riggin were having. It may have thrown him off his game, and there's no doubt about the popularity of this young man among Minnesota fans. Now it's McAdam keeping it in along the boards. Bobby Smith drawing an assist on that goal by Ciccarelli. He's got another 4-point night. He had 4 in the 6-4 win on Sunday. 2 goals and 2 assists. He's got a goal and 3 assists tonight.
Well, you're watching a well-oiled machine, the Minnesota North Stars. That ice surface out there tonight, it is not slow. The puck is not bouncing. The players are skating better. At least the green machine is.
Well, there were some people that thought Lou Nanne may have been taking a gamble on Ciccarelli when he signed him as a free agent after the very severe broken leg he had incurred in his junior career. Boy, has he played some hockey for Minnesota. A long shot that Beaupre steers up over the glass and out of play.
Well, one thing, Don, I've watched the Calgary Flames play a lot of hockey this year. They will not quit. They'll keep grinding it out. But they have a tough act here right now because the Minnesota North Stars are really playing solid hockey.
Well, it's been a tough year for our Hockey Night in Canada crew. Brent Haywood, our isolation director, hospitalized with an eye injury playing racquetball, and Bob Goldham on the weekend suffered a heart attack. Goldie, we're happy to hear that you're resting comfortably at the North York General in Toronto. Best wishes for a speedy recovery from all of our Hockey Night in Canada crew. And hopefully you'll be back out on the golf course real soon. Now it's Greg Smith dodging a check. Working to the center ice area, he flips it to the line, broken up there by Brad Marsh. Going back after it is Bobby Smith. 14:43 the time left in this second period. 5-2, Minnesota North Stars lead. It's fired down the ice by Minnesota. A race for that loose puck. Russell gets there first, and icing is called against the North Stars. Tonight's Stanley Cup playoff game is coming to you from Bloomington, Minnesota.
Quaker State helps cars last.
See that? It's the sign of quality engine protection. Quaker State motor oil protection. That's the reason I use Quaker State. It's the best-selling motor oil in North America. Quaker State's the only oil we've ever used in our truck. The way I figure it, when you've got something good going for you, you stay with it. Quaker State helps cars last. And trucks.
5-2 the score. Dino Cicerelli with a hat trick tonight for the North Stars. He has set an NHL scoring record for a rookie with 10 goals in the playoffs. The puck cleared to the left wing board, picked up there by Palmer into the center ice area to Broughton. Broughton had it poked away from him at the line by Reinhardt. Now up along the boards, Gould tries to get it out. They jostle along the boards, and they hold it for a face-off. Well, there's more action at Madison Square. Here's Jiggs McDonald.
Blue line. 1 minute and 5 seconds remaining in the penalty to Dennis Potvin. The Rangers have not had a shot again so far, halfway through their third power play.
Well, they're credited with one. Somehow the board has got them with one now.
Maybe out of sympathy. I've been deliberately watching.
Here's a break for Goring, cutting it all alone and a short-handed, and he scores! Butch Goring!
Butch Goring having a good playoff series for the Islanders. It's 4-0 New York. The Islanders leading the Rangers, and that series looks very much as though it will end in 4 straight games. Radicalio, a lead pass to Kevin Lavallee. Lavallee with a shot, and it's high off the glass. LeBratton trying for the rebound. It was cleared to the board, kept in at the point. LeBratton racing after the loose puck. The North Stars get there first. Broughton brings it to the Calgary line. He has it taken away by Radicalio. Radicalio for Reinhardt. Reinhardt into the center ice area. It's played down along the boards into the North Star zone. Hartsburg brings it back. Hartsburg gets away from one check. Finally, he loses it to Murdoch. Over to Radicalio. In the center ice area, McCarthy comes up with it for the North Stars. In across the line, he pokes it into the corner. Reinhardt pulls it off the boards and down the ice. 13:10 is the time left in this second period. 5-2 is the score. Minnesota leading. The play whistle down and an offside. This is Hockey Night in Canada from Bloomington, Minnesota.
Molson Light has got heart. Molson Light has got heart. It's got taste. Molson Light has got heart. Heart, join the movement to light.
Tonight's telecast coming to you live from Bloomington, Minnesota. And wherever you're looking in this evening, we hope you're enjoying the action. Minnesota fans obviously are. The North Stars lead it by a 5-2 margin. Bobby Smith with a 4-point performance so far tonight. In across the line. Smith cutting for the goal. A shot in the save at the short side by Lemelin. McCarthy along the board. Knocked off the puck. Bill Russell picks it up for Calgary. Russell leading a 3-on-2 attack. He tried to drop it back for McMillan. It's picked off by Minnesota. Smith again. Smith over on the wing, intended for Cicerelli, broken up by Calgary. The Flames come back, led by Chouinard. Chouinard takes a shot from a sharp angle. It ricocheted off Roberts, goes to the corner, picked up along the boards by Cicerelli, ahead to McCarthy. McCarthy looking for Bobby Smith, then feeds it back to Cicerelli. He flips it into the Calgary zone, and Murdoch goes into the corner after it. Pass up on the left side for McMillan. McMillan having difficulty in the center ice area. Gould following the play, hammers it into the corner. Trying to catch the Flames in a change. The North Stars come back, led by Kevin Maxwell. Trying to go around Marsh. He got a shot away that was wide. Picked up along the boards by Willie Platt. Platt with a long drive that's high and off the glass. Lever plays it to the side of the net to Poplinski. Poplinski going back to the line with it to Marsh. He winds up. The shot is knocked down in front and dumped to center ice. Reinhardt in the neutral zone. Playing it along the boards. It's poked away by the North Stars back into Calgary territory. Willie Plett goes back over to Brad Marsh. Marsh up along the boards. Lever to Poplinski. Poplinski around one, going for the goal. Moving into the slot. A shot was saved, and the rebound is cleared by Barrett. And I think we have a penalty coming up against Minnesota as well. With the score, Minnesota 5 and Calgary 2. This is Stanley Cup 81.
No matter what we tell you, we carry. Whenever we say Canadian Tire, you think we've got the biggest names in sporting goods. But when we say Canadian Tire, you think we've got a huge selection of brand name tools and hardware. But we say Canadian Tire, and so now, after seeing all this, when I say Canadian Tire, what do you think? Now you got it.
There's a lot more to Canadian Tire than tires.
Well, Kevin Maxwell is in the penalty box, and Gary and Chico, I think it's almost paramount that right here, to get back in the game, Calgary must score.
Absolutely. Poplinski made a good move there to go around the defenseman, trying to throw it through the middle against Willie Plett, and he was hauled down.
Calgary Flames back in their own zone with the man advantage. Reinhardt dodging a check from Broughton, gets it ahead to Chouinard. Chouinard has a great shot. Nielsen has been healthy. They've been able to use him back in the point. Now it's the Valley in the corner, back to the point. Chouinard is there, into the slot. Lever lets one go, and it was deflected by Hartsburg. Comes back to Chouinard at the line. He was unable to control that high pass from Kevin LaValle. Now it's loose in the center ice area, picked off by Neil Broughton. Broughton trying to control things for the Stars, and he does, back into his own zone. Brad Maxwell killing off those seconds before firing at the length of the ice. 1:05, the time left in the penalty to Kevin Maxwell. Long pass, and they're going to be called for icing. Chouinard was looking for Houston, who was positioned in the center ice area.
You'll find Guy Chouinard on just about every power play. He has the ability to make the plays, but he was very low in his conversation today, down the way the power play was working, and the loss of Kent Nielsen has also hurt.
Well, the disadvantage of having Guy on the point is that he can't carry the puck into the zone, or it's much more difficult, and that's what Calgary is in trouble doing. Getting the puck in and then setting up, like they tried to make long passes like we just saw. If Nielsen's healthy, Chouinard can play center, be the conductor on that power play.
In the corner, Reinhardt comes up with it. Reinhardt trying to get things organized for Calgary. He dodges the check from Anderson. Trying to feed it in front, and Houston just steered it wide. Houston plays it for McMillan. It bounced off him. It comes back to the line. Here's Radicalio with a shot. It went wide. Along the boards, McAdam clears it down the ice.
You know, one thing, the Flames are not allowed to set up in the Calgary zone and make their plays. They have always a green shirt right beside them, forcing them to make the play they don't want to make.
LeBron trying to go around Barrett. Barrett tied him up, and Gordy Roberts was there to clear the puck the length of the ice. Now it's Radicalio coming out of his own zone. Minnesota is back at full strength to Russell. Russell at the line, had it knocked down. And it's Brad Palmer for the North Stars with 9:15 left. His shot scores! What a drive! We return to the cannon that he possesses earlier, and he really whistled that one past goaltender Lemelin.
Well, from a Calgary standpoint, the defense backed in. You let Palmer carry it over the blue line. There it goes. What about the goaltender situation here, Chico?
Well, that's where the guy is using the defenseman as a screen, and you'll see Phil Russell throw a stick in there. I'm not sure if it hit it or it just distracted Reggie enough to throw him off his concentration.
Just for a second, the puck and the stick came together, and it went by him, and there will be a goaltending change. Reggie Lemelin will be through for the night, and he certainly can't be blamed. The shots are 25-15 at this time. So Pat Regan, who has played well in this series, is back in there.
Well, I know I don't know everything, but if I'm the coach and I'm going to use Riggin the next game, there's no way I put him in this game now because North Star's got everything going. He's still got his confidence. He's played extremely well, Pat has. Not that Reggie hasn't, but don't throw him into a game like this if you're going to use him the next game.
Now, what if they get about 4 or 5 on Riggin? How will that affect him for the next game?
Absolutely. I just can't believe that they're doing this unless they've got something or they know something I don't.
Well, the Calgary Flames certainly are forced to take chances now to try and get back into this game, so Minnesota will probably get a wide-open hockey game going, and that's the way the North Stars like it. A penalty coming up against the Calgary Flames. Hockey Night in Canada will continue in just a moment. Chico Willie Flett goes off for cross-checking. Pat Riggin comes into the game cold. The first shots he is going to face will be on the power play.
Nice warm-up, especially the way the Minnesota power play has been going. Like I said, I just don't understand the move at this stage of the game.
Bobby Smith into the face-off circle against Clement. Now Clement is moving out of there. Jamie Hispeth will be his replacement. From the draw, the puck loose, and finally it's taken into the corner. McAdam to Payne. Payne trying to maneuver into position. He's taken in against the boards by Russell, and the puck is brought out by Clement. Just Brad Maxwell back. Clement with a long drive. It's off the glass, and Hartsburg comes back for Minnesota. Hartsburg had a little difficulty controlling it. He flips it around the other side. He gets it back, and he's chased back in the goal by Clement. Clement doing a good job of forechecking here, forcing the North Stars back into their own zone. Now a pass over on the left side for Payne. In across the line. Payne drops it there for Hartsburg. Hartsburg to Smith. Smith out into the slot. Payne shot. Riggin makes the save. Maxwell with the drive. Another save by Riggin. And it's cleared down the ice with 1:04 remaining in the penalty. Now it's Cicerelli over on the left wing. Nobody there. Picked up by Kristoff, who is following the play. Back to the line now to Hartsburg. Hartsburg to the other side. Another penalty coming up against Calgary. Faking the shot is Hartsburg. Hartsburg in back of the net. Out front now to Bobby Smith. He winds up, and it's wide. And the delayed penalty call as Phil Russell pinched the puck against the board. 38 seconds left in the minor penalty to Willie Flett. And we have another penalty coming up against Phil Russell. Live from Bloomington, Minnesota, the Stanley Cup playoffs.
A town can die if it ain't got protection. Well, the folks around here wouldn't buy that. So I went ahead and bought my own Res Woodstain. Res protection lasts because Res grinds its color so fine that it gets right into the wood and sticks there. Buy Res protection, I said. But they wouldn't listen. And where are they now?
Well, that's one place the Calgary Flames can ill afford to be right now, Gary.
2 men short, but I was surprised at the North Stars when they saw that there was a delayed penalty in the making, that they wouldn't just allow the Flames to recover the puck, stop the play. All they're doing is killing off the first penalty.
Yeah, they would have had a 5-on-3 for probably 15, 20 seconds longer than they're going to have now.
They'll have that 5-on-3 situation for 38 seconds. That's the time remaining in Flett's penalty.
Now they'll have, they're going to have to work around that triangle that the Flames will set up now. And I can just see Bill Clement, who will be out there at the top of that triangle, work a 2-on-1 against him, trying for that good shot.
Smith against Reinhardt in the face-off circle. Reinhardt got the draw back at the net to Murdoch. Murdoch up along the boards to Clement, and he hammers it down the ice. Brad Maxwell is going back for Minnesota. Maxwell bringing it out. Over on the left side for Payne. Payne going to the corner. He puts on the brakes to Bobby Smith. Smith along the boards. Tried to go rink wide, broken up by Clement, and Clement clears it to center ice. Hartsburg over on the right side for Maxwell. He shoots it in back of the Calgary goal. Reagan out of the net. It's picked up by Murdoch, and he clears it the length of the ice. Willie Plett is back. 1:18 is the time remaining in the penalty to Phil Russell. Payne loses it in the center ice area. Gordy Roberts has to go back into his own zone. He had some anxious moments there as two Calgary Flames were right on top of him. Now a lead pass to center ice, picked up by Roberts. Roberts across the line. He dumps it into the corner. Picked up along the boards by Reinhardt. Reinhardt unable to get out against Ciccarelli. The puck bounces in front of the Calgary goal. Then it's cleared, and McMillan brings it out with 45 seconds remaining in the penalty. McMillan for Calgary. Try to backhand pass. Here's a 3-on-2 break for the North Stars. Over on the right side. Ciccarelli shot, and the deflection by Reagan. Now it's Broughton in the corner. They fight for it there. Broughton comes up with it. Broughton goes back to the net. Still 24 seconds left in the penalty. To the line to Roberts. Roberts over to the other side to Maxwell. Maxwell tried to feed it in front. Knocked down. Back to the line to Roberts. Roberts at the side. Over to Broughton. Roberts again. To the other side to Maxwell. He winds up the save, the rebound, and Ciccarelli hit the side of the net. And the Calgary Flames are back at full strength as Russell comes out of the penalty box. Roberts at the line, at the side of the net to Ciccarelli. Ciccarelli, he's it back to the point to Roberts. Roberts and Murdoch did a little shoving, but nothing developed. Now back at the goal, it's Reinhardt with 5:13 remaining in the period. 6-2, Calgary lead, or Minnesota leading as Calgary's Russell brings it into the corner. He takes it in against the boards with Maxwell, and they force a face-off in the Minnesota zone. Well, they had a two-man advantage but couldn't score. This Stanley Cup playoff game is coming to you from Bloomington, Minnesota.
Go, lady, go, lady, go.
The new Go Dryer from Canadian General Electric goes anywhere. Compact with a fold-up handle, 2 heat speeds, 1,200 watts of fast hair drying power.
Go dryer, go.
And now get curls to go. Get the CGE Pro Curler with fast heat up and safe cool tip.
Go curler, go.
The Go Dryer and Go Curler, both with convenient dual voltage. New from Canadian General Electric.
Keith Menard in the face-off circle. He's got quite a workload tonight with Kent Nielsen out of the lineup. However, the Flames hope to have Nielsen back for Game 5 Thursday night in Calgary. And across the line, Anderson over on the wing to McCarthy. It slides right to the goal mouth. Anderson picks it up again. He tried to center it. He was tied up, however, by Marsh, and it's played back at the Calgary goal to Raducalio. Raducalio to Marsh. Marsh lost it to Anderson. Anderson in front to McCarthy. He tried to deflect it to Kevin Maxwell, but Marsh took it to the corner. Marsh was spun around by Maxwell. The puck goes high, brought in from the point, and knocked down by Barrett in the corner. Marsh, a pass in the wing for Gould. Gould tried to feed it back, and it deflected in front of the goal, and then was flipped out by Marsh. Now it's fired back in by the North Stars, but icing will be called as Marsh touches the puck in the corner. 4:08 is the time remaining in the second period. Minnesota dominating by a 6-2 margin, outshooting the Flames to this point, 28-15.
Well, you'd think that Glenn Sonmore would just relax a little bit behind the bench and take it easy. He's got the game well in hand at this point, but that isn't the case. He'll continue to stroll back and forth, hollering at the referee and linesman, talking to his players, and he is not worried about line matchups whatsoever. Again, today we ask him, are you concerned? Not in a bit. We're going to send one line after another. Just skate, skate, skate. That's all we want. He has to be tired out more so than the players after he's finished, Chico.
From the faceoff, it's brought out by Payne to McAdam. The puck comes back to Payne. However, as he he crossed the line, he was tied up, and it was flipped out to center ice by Calgary. Here's a breakaway for Bobby Smith. He steals the puck. Smith going in. He shoots. The save by Pat Regan on a clean breakaway by Bobby Smith.
Just a great save by Pat Regan, and he's had about 4 or 5 since he's been in there. And one guy on the other team that you don't want to see coming down on you is Bobby Smith. And you'll see him spread out here, makes a bit of a guess, but a nice percentage-wise guess. He got a stick out in front of it. Bobby Smith kept the puck low, tried to go through that 5-hole we're talking about.
Regan closed that up in a hurry, didn't he?
Yes, he did. You'll see him lay down there in a big save. And hopefully he can keep that up just for his confidence for next game.
With what Regan has done here in the second, I'm sure there will be a lot of second guessers about the goaltending switch made by the Flames for this game. Bobby Smith, a pass into the center ice area. Here's McAdam. He tried to drop it for Hartsburg. Hartsburg did get to it, but he was being tied up. And he is taken into the boards by Poplinski. Now Russell brings it back. Over on the right side, just a little too far for Murdoch. It goes loose in the corner. Smith tried to clear it, kept in by Poplinski. His shot hit Payne. Now at the line, Russell lets it go, and it hit a Minnesota player, and it's brought out by the North Stars. Payne across the line. McAdam going for the goal. Shot save. Another good stop by Regan, and it's cleared by Calgary. Poplinski bringing it back. He winds up. Glove save by Beaupre. Well, both goaltenders coming up with key saves here in the late minutes of this second period.
Very similar styles, exciting styles. You're going to see a nice save here by Pat Regan. El McAdam's in all alone. Again, he covers that 5-hole. We're going to go right down to the other end. And Poplinski, a great shot, but a high shot where you want to shoot on Donnie Beaupre. But from far out, he's got a quick glove, and he can compensate for that, for those high corners he's not covering.
Well, Joe Malash had said that one thing about Beaupre, he has the quick hands.
I think he also suggested he's a bit of a showman, too, didn't he? And he likes to perform in front of the crowd here at the Met Center. Over on the left side, Broughton with a shot. Rebound! Regan with another save as Kristoff tried to jam that rebound past him. He simply stood his ground. Played out to the center ice area just a little too far for Houston with 2:27 remaining in the period. Now the North Stars come back. Kristoff working to the corner. Still controlling it. Back of the net. Kristoff for the North Stars to Broughton. Broughton tried to go out front, had it hooked away. It goes back of the goal again and is picked up finally on the boards by Dwyer. Lead pass too far for Chouinard. Gordy Roberts takes it in the center ice area. Roberts fired into an open right wing. Dwyer brings it in for Calgary. He drops it for Gould. Gould takes the shot, a high drive. It was knocked down by Beaupre. It's loose in front of the net. And it's played ahead with a left hand by the North Stars.
Well, Coach Al McNeil had said before the game that we have to do a better job of checking in our own zone. That did not materialize. He said that our forwards had to stay closer to their checks. That did not materialize either. You know, the North Stars are freewheeling, and everybody's trying to stick check. I'd like to see them go back the way they played against Philadelphia in that 7th game. Right on top of them, stay close, because this game, for all intents and purposes, is out of hand. But see if they can shut down Minnesota, not let them get any shots on net.
Kept in at the line. Beaupre is out of the goal, playing it to the corner. Calgary trying to center it, but Dino Ciccarelli comes up with the puck. What a fan favorite he is in Minnesota. He's got 3 goals tonight. Shot dribbles to the goal mouth, and Regan hangs on for a faceoff.
You know that he would like to get one against Regan.
Find out what we'll be seeing between the second and third periods. Once again, here's Dave Hodge.
I'll be talking to Guy Chouinard of the Calgary Flames. Mike Liut of St. Louis will join me, along with Eddie Johnstone, who is scouting this series for the Rangers. Perhaps we should say was scouting, because it seems the Rangers season will end tonight at Madison Square Garden. And if there's anything to report from the Garden in New York, we'll send you there again and show you action between the Islanders and the Rangers.
Yes, Dave, and the last report we had from New York, 4-0. The Islanders leading the Rangers in the second period. Now it's in the Minnesota zone. Puck picked up by Maxwell. Good check along the boards. Here's a shot. the puck went loose, picked off by Beaupre into the corner, and Cicerelli has it for Minnesota. He turns to get away from McMillan. Oh, is he upset by Phil Russell? And a penalty is upcoming against Calgary.
I think Phil will probably think that was worth it, just to get that little Roadrunner one time, even though it was a little illegal. I bet he feels pretty good about it.
I thought you were going to say something else there.
Well, he is really blitzing all over the ice, and a good check, I guess, but got to stick in there a little bit.
Except Myers didn't think so, but Phil Russell had to do something. Somebody has to slow down this hockey club. But, you know, getting back to that Rangers series, I think a lot of people thought if there was going to be an upset, the Rangers had a possibility of doing that, but the Islanders, very disciplined hockey club, as you know, Chico. They want to repeat, and they're going about it like they mean business.
Well, I'll go on the limb and say I don't think anybody can beat them. They can only beat themselves.
Here's a chance. The puck just rolled in front of the goal. McAdam couldn't get his stick on it, and it was cleared down the ice. Now it's Maxwell back of his own net. He leaves it there for Bobby Smith. Smith gets away from Hislop. Over on the left side it goes to Payne. Payne overskated it at the line. He tried to feed it rink wide, but it was intercepted by Hislop, and he clears it back into Minnesota territory. 30 seconds the time remaining in this second period. 6-2 is the score. The North Stars in front of Calgary. The North Stars with the man advantage. For Bobby Smith. Smith in the corner. Now gives it back to the line to Maxwell, to the other side to Hartsburg. In front to McAdam. He couldn't get a good shot away. Payne almost stole it from Brad Marsh. Payne goes into the corner, playing it around to the other side to Smith. Smith couldn't get it back to the point against Hislop, who clears it for Lever, and he shoots at the length of the ice as the horn sounds to end the second period. Well, there's another goal in New York. Once again, Jake McDonald and Stan Fischler.
Hedberg again. To the blue line. Katsopoulos lets it go and hit the post. Hit the post to the left of Smith. Clear to the blue line to Katsopoulos. Katsopoulos trying to set one up in front of drive. Smith is starting to.
And the score here at the end of 2 periods of play from the Met Center in Bloomington, Minnesota. The North Stars 6 and the Calgary Flames 2.
When you make a move to light beer, then it's gotta have a heart. If you're moving to a beer with great taste, that's when the grin should start. Molson Light has got heart. It's got heart, it's got taste. Molson Light has got heart.
Join the movement to light. Sun's coming up, they're biting today, trolling or cruising, catching your way. Mercury, that's how the world goes fishing.
Mercury small fishing engine. 9 easy-running outboards plus 3 electric thrusters. Featuring the new generation Mercs, 3.6, 18, and 25. That's fish power, 3.6 to 40 horsepower.
Mercury, that's how the world goes fishing.
On the one hand, you're sad to see her go. But you couldn't be happier knowing she's found someone that will love her and care for her. In her words, someone just like you. Maybe now's the time to be thinking about your future. Talk it over with a Mutual Life of Canada agent. We understand what you're feeling.
Tito Cicerelli has scored 3 goals for Minnesota, and Bobby Smith, for the second consecutive game in this series, has 4 points. The North Stars lead by 4 goals at the end of 2 periods of play. Ciccarelli with a Stanley Cup playoff record for rookies, 10 goals in 1 playoff year. Here is Guy Chouinard of the Calgary Flames, and unfortunately we have to talk about a power play that isn't working and that was supposed to work in this series. The Flames had the better power play during the regular season and better penalty killing, really, than Minnesota, too. Have you been able to figure out what's wrong? I'm sure you've tried.
Well, we tried in practice. We spent 20, 25 minutes yesterday on it, and it seems like everybody there is too tight, maybe. We try to make the pretty play, and I don't think we shoot enough, and maybe to get things going, we'll have to shoot more.
They're giving you some trouble in your own zone setting up. I think you're probably getting enough room when you get into their zone, but I wonder whether it's affecting you at the start of the play, perhaps more than you'd imagine.
Well, they got some pretty good skaters, and it seems like when they shoot the puck in their own end, we had trouble because they're right on us right away. It seems like we can't move the puck up quick enough, that our wingers can't handle it, and we get in trouble that way.
What about the absence of Kent Nilsson? How does that affect the power play? What do you have to do differently, if anything, when he's not there?
Not only on the power play. When Kent is he's playing, you know that if he's out there for 45 to a minute on a shift, he'll get the puck. He'll have the puck for 30 seconds. So right there is a disadvantage. And on the power play is almost a key out there. When you get the puck to him, you can see the open man, and you can make the pretty pass, and you can also score goals. So it's a big minus for us right now, and plus for them.
It's been said that there's been an adjustment, and I suppose there has for the Flames, from the Philadelphia series to this series. Probably no two teams more different in the NHL in terms of style than Philadelphia and Minnesota. Has that affected you, do you think?
Well, we played 2 tough series, Chicago and Philadelphia, which slower pace, but more of a checking type of games. And right now, you see the North Stars have some good skaters, and it seems like we had trouble adjusting. I thought we played pretty well the last couple of games. Tonight, it seems like they're on us too quick, and we can't really adjust on our speed.
Pat Riggin made some big saves to keep you as close as you are, 4 goals down. There's been some talk that maybe it's a wrong move to put him in there if this route continues, because then his confidence, which must be strong after the way he's played, would be shattered. But I assume Al McNeil's thinking is you can't think any game is over in a best-of-7 series. You got to still think that you can win this game. At least try.
Well, sure. We're always overtime, and you never know. You had a couple breaks and a couple of goals. You never know. You can always get back in the ball game. I don't think that Reggie Lemon played bad at all. He kept us in there for a period and a half, and Pat Riggin came on strong, and who knows what happened in the third period.
Okay, Guy, there's a lot of fans in Calgary and Western Canada and across the country really hoping that the Flames can reverse this and stay in the series, and of course you're going back to the corral. The power play, though, is important for Calgary, and it has not been clicking. We'll continue with Mike Liut and Eddie Johnstone as Hockey Night in Canada continues in just a moment.
Yeah, heard about the new Schick Ultrex free razor offer? Free razor? Size 5 blades and the razor's free. Yeah? But hurry, Marty, it's for a limited time only.
Look for this special pack of Schick Ultrex, the only one with pivoting action and the exclusive push-button cleaner to push soap and stubble out from between the blades for close, smooth shaves like never before.
Hey, you really want that free Ultrex?
Buy 5 Ultrex blades now and the razor's free.
Yeah.
When you're miles from home, everything you pack has to be dependable, including the batteries in your radio. We wouldn't use anything but Duracell batteries.
Tests prove long after regular carbon batteries wear out, Duracell keeps going strong because Duracell batteries last longer.
And that's really important when the nearest supplies are 2 mountains away.
Duracell. The copper top battery. No regular battery looks like it
or lasts like it.
We want to make you smile.
Mr. Simmons called and said see you at 4:30 about the contract.
Good thing it's right across the street.
We're going to make you smile.
Holiday Inn hotels are near where you need to be.
Right on time.
And that can be important.
You got it.
Is my smile that big? Huh?
Come to Holiday Inn where your smile says we're number 1 people pleasing.
Someday soon, you will discover magic. Capri Magic from Lincoln Mercury. Now with an optional 5-speed overdrive transmission. An and a special inner magic. It's almost irresistible. 1981 Capri. See one soon, before they all disappear.
North Stars 6, Flames 2 after 2. Here in Bloomington, this is Game 4 of the Stanley Cup semifinal between the North Stars and the Flames. Joining me in the second intermission is advertised Mike Liut of St. Louis, and to my far left, Eddie Johnstone of the New York Rangers. A knee injury has turned Eddie from right winger to scout, and I know you're not too pleased with what you're hearing from the Garden tonight. It is 4-1. The Rangers do have a goal, but Eddie, perhaps you could tell us something about that series from what you've seen. I don't think anybody really expected the Islanders to have this kind of a romp in 4. Not that anybody, too many people expected the Rangers to win the series, but a lot of people thought it'd be closer, right?
Well, I think on the island, we deserved really a better fate than what we had. We played them even for the 2 games. They just capitalized on their chances and scored the goals and beat us. And I was there on Saturday night, watched the game at home there, and I don't think a team can play any better than they played. They were all over us, and you know, they beat us at just every aspect of the game.
Mike and Eddie faced each other in the quarterfinal round. The Blues were upset by the Rangers in a few seconds. Can you explain to your fans across Canada what might have happened?
Well, you know, in a short series, anything can happen, and I think maybe you know, the season took a lot out of us, and certainly the Pittsburgh series went a long way in double overtime in the 5th game. But the Rangers were playing very well when they ran into us, and you know, that's the way a short series can go.
All right, let's turn the players into predictors now. If the Islanders win the series, as it seems they will, which of these 2 teams, Eddie, do you think would have the best chance of upsetting the Islanders?
Oh, I think it's Minnesota. I think I don't think Calgary can skate with the Islanders, and I think that Minnesota I think has got a good chance if they keep playing the way they're playing right now, and you know, they're doing everything right, and that's half the battle. And against the Islanders, you have to stay out of the penalty box because they got a great power play, and I think if it went to that, I'd have to go with the New York boys.
Mike, it's wrong to assume this series is over, but it's also hard to argue with what Eddie's saying, that the way Minnesota's playing tonight and the way they've played in earlier games in the series, it would appear that that's the best final in terms of a close contest we can get.
Yeah, I think that Eddie's right. Minnesota is a skating club, and they're playing with a lot of excitement tonight. They've got their rookies are very high, and I think that's what they're going to need, that type of intensity to play against the Islanders.
Chico Resch injected a bit of controversy into the goaltending switch from Lemelin to Riggin. Analyze the thoughts of both men. Lemelin coming out when he can in no way be faulted for the way the score looks. Riggin going in cold, perhaps to be further victimized by a rout, although it hasn't happened that way. Chico said he wouldn't have done it for that reason, that you got to keep Riggin's confidence up.
Well, yeah, I think that maybe what Al was thinking was that maybe he needed a little more ice time against Minnesota, and they scored 6 times in the last game. But I think your point's valid, where they're not out of it until the end of the game. And with Lemelin, he played very well. Minnesota's all over Calgary. They've got them backed into their end, and there's just very little any goaltender's going to be able to do.
What about the Minnesota shooters, Eddie? When a goaltending switch is made, they're still doing the same things, and there's no suggestion that the shots that Riggin stopped would have gone in on Lemelin. But do you suddenly realize there's a new goaltender in there, maybe start to outthink yourselves a little bit?
Oh, I don't know. I think that when you find out there's a new goaltender in there, I think anytime you get from the blue line in early, you know, shoot the puck, you know, and because he's cold, he's been sitting there for a period and a half, and you know, I think Mike will agree that lots of times it takes you that 3 or 4 good shots to get into it, and you know, if you hit the right spot, you've got a good chance of beating him.
Well, Pat Riggin has played well, and Calgary is still in it as far as the score goes, 6-2. It's not over, but it certainly appears as though Minnesota's going to take a 3-1 lead back to Calgary, thanks to Eddie Johnstone and to Mike Liut. And we'll be going to New York and tell you what's been happening at the Garden in just a moment as we return with the Stanley Cup playoffs after this.
Introducing a North American car designed for a changing world and with a commitment to quality. Introducing the beautifully new Ford Granada. Built with a new design, smaller exterior, yet more spacious than ever before. Built with Granada's highest mileage ratings ever, 34.8 miles per gallon. And built with Ford's quality control system. 38 inspectors examine every single car. The new Granada, new for a changing world from Ford.
When you're going to be in the spotlight, don't you want an antiperspirant that goes on dry, fast, and easy? Try Menon Speed Stick Plus. It's not wet, not sticky, and it goes on fast and easy because it's wide and smooth and solid. Speed Stick Plus gives you long-lasting protection against wetness and odor. You can count on it. Menon Speed Stick Plus Antiperspirant from the makers of Speed Stick, Canada's #1 stick deodorant. When we say the new Lufkin 1-inch Ultralock stands up, we mean more than durability. More than Luff Coat protection. When we say the Lufkin 1-inch stands up, we mean it stands up. For more than 2 meters, more than 7 feet. The Lufkin 1-inch Ultralock from Cooper the Toolmaker. Lufkin tapes are part of the Cooper Tool Center at your local hardware store.
Oh, my favorite designer label shirts. But I'd like some with the patented mark collar.
Only Arrow has the patented mark collar.
Only Arrow? Hey, wait a minute. These styles are really great.
Only Arrow has the revolutionary patented mark collar. Shaped not like a tube, but like a cone to fit the contours of your neck for comfort like never before. And a fresh, crisp look with the neckband out of sight. Excuse me, didn't you want some of those, too?
No. Only Arrow.
In the second intermission at the Met Center, you will understand that there's an unusual amount of activity at the concession stands where the Dino Cicerelli buttons and T-shirts are being sold. He has 3 goals in this game, and we have more action at Madison Square Garden. Let's take it out of Jiggs McDonald in New York.
And they up the left side. Vickers carries it into center ice. Vickers handed it right to Lane, failed to clear it out. Here's Vickers trying to come in around the defense, gave it to Duguay. Duguay with Lane on top of him, centers, they score! Barry Beck. That changes the complexion. Another power play goal with only 11 seconds remaining in the penalty to Mike Bossy. Barry Beck converts to Ron Duguay. Pass right there. Duguay out in front. And Beck skates in, deflects the puck into the top right-hand corner. You see Vickers right here. That puck came off the skate of Butch Goring. The Islanders had a chance to clear it, but it hit Butch Goring on the skate. Vickers kept it in to Duguay, to Beck, and it's in the net. And the score now is 4-2 for the New York Islanders.
Still a period to go in New York, so the Rangers may have some life in them yet. Eddie Johnstone hoped so as he left our studio, and now we'll send it to Don Whitman and Gary and Chico for the 3rd period of this game in Minnesota.
6-2 is the score. The Minnesota North Stars leading. They lead the series 2-1 and could head back to Calgary for Game 5 on Thursday night with an impressive 3-1 lead. And, of course, you'll be able to see that telecast on CBC television. And, again, we advise you to check your local listings. It was 3-1 after 1. Jamie Hislop got Calgary right back into it, but then 2 quick goals by Dino Cicerelli as he sets a Stanley Cup playoff record for a rookie. And Brad Palmer's goal just past the midway point moved the Minnesota North Stars in front 6-2. And that prompted a goaltending change by Al McNeil, the head coach of the Flames, as Glenn Sonmore talks to his players. There's a fan who is trying to get at Pat Regan in behind the Calgary goal. He was there prior to the start of the game, Gary, not realizing that Pat Regan was not the starting goaltender tonight. Maxwell, a rink-wide pass. North Stars with the man advantage. In the corner, Steve Payne for Minnesota. He's taken in against the boards by Murdoch. McAdam comes in to help out. Back to the line to Hartsburg. Into the corner to Bobby Smith. Back to Hartsburg. Over to Maxwell as the North Stars move it around. Hartsburg again. Fakes the shot to Smith. Smith tried to drop it back to the line, broken up by Clement, and he flips it down the ice.
You know, the difference in the two power plays is the North Stars, the men without the puck, are always moving, always trying to get in position away from their checks. They're not standing still.
Now it's Payne moving in across the line. Having difficulty there with Clement. Hartsburg comes in to help out. Hartsburg at the side of the net for McAdam. McAdam tried to play it back to the line. It comes to Maxwell. Maxwell takes a shot. It goes wide. Just 2 seconds remaining in the penalty. Beaupre was way out of his net, banging his stick in the ice, trying to alert his teammates to the fact that Phil Russell was going to be momentarily back out on the ice. Now it's Gould circling in the center ice area. His shot went off Robert's stick high up into the air, and as it came down against the boards, Payne flipped it into Calgary territory. It's touched by Reinhardt, and icing will be called against Minnesota.
Well, after tonight, the series switches to the Corral in Calgary for game number 5. That will be a 9 o'clock time. That's Eastern time. Minnesota at Calgary. And the way it looks right now, it's going to be a tough road ahead for the Flames. They'll have to win 3 in a row if they are going to move on. That is, of course, if they would lose tonight. And right now, it does not look very good for the Calgary Flames.
6-2 is the score. The face-off to the right of Don Beaupre. Playing his first game against Calgary, Gilles Meloche was in the net for the previous 3. In the center ice area, Gould, or I should say Chouinard, flipping it over for Gould. Gould racing into the corner. The puck is poked loose. Broughton tried to get it out, kept in by McMillan. He takes the shot. It hits Chouinard in front. The puck is loose, and it's cleared by Kristoff. Kristoff up along the boards for Broughton. Broughton dumps it to center ice. McMillan goes back. He falls. The loose puck picked up by Radicalio. Over to Reinhardt. Ahead to Chouinard. Back to Radicalio. Pass on the wing for Gould. His shot. And it's dropped by Beaupre. I think that may have been sailing over top of the net anyway, but Beaupre made the glove save that prompted a response from the fans. Kristoff knocked off the puck by Radicalio. He gets it back again, playing it to the line. Barrett shoots, saved by Reagan. The puck loose in front, and Reagan comes up with another save. Off the stick up Kevin Maxwell. Now it's McMillan circling in the Calgary zone. Over to Radicalio. 17:24 left in the period. Ciccarelli intercepts the pass and flips it into the Calgary zone. Reagan with a couple of big saves here in the third period prevents the North Stars from adding to their 6-2 lead. Now it's Reinhardt across the line. His pass intercepted by Brad Maxwell. A long lead pass for McCarthy, and offside in the right wing was Kent-Eric Anderson. From Bloomington, Minnesota, this is Stanley Cup 81.
On this Canadian destroyer, about 250 men work as a team with some of the most advanced electronic equipment in the world, helping to keep Canada strong. If you've got what it takes, there may be a future for you in Maritime Command, full-time or part-time.
There's no life like it. There's no life like it. No, there's no life like it.
Ask us about you. You'll find us under Recruiting in the Yellow Pages.
Here's a couple great saves by Pat Reagan, the type of saves that you would really like to save for a close game. Watch this save with his stick. Just hits his stick as he throws it up. Just a terrific flurry of saves, and he looks like coming off the bench that he's really into the game, and like I say, hopefully he can continue this, and nothing will be lost by putting him in there.
3 saves in a row by Reagan, and perhaps that will certainly give him a great boost in confidence if he is the goaltender, and I would assume that he might be for Game 5. Back at the Corral on Thursday.
Well, I look at this third period now. Chico, you've been in this situation before in the playoffs, but for the Flames, my feeling is that I think it's important that they really do a job of checking to find out for themselves that they can shut down Minnesota, not allow those good scoring chances, to give them a little confidence going back to Calgary.
Well, everything needs reinforcement, and that's what the Flames need right now. They need reinforcement in their system because it's completely broken down.
Long shot into the Minnesota zone. Greg Smith in the corner, having some difficulties there with Poplinski. Lever is also there, but it's pulled free, and McAdam starts out on the right side. He tried to go around Russell. He was pinned in against the boards, and the Calgary defenseman comes up with the puck to Murdoch, ahead to Willie Platt. Koplinski in across the line. Dodges a check from Hartsburg, tried to center it. Beaupre steered it in behind the goal. 16:05 is the time left in the third period. 6-2 the score. The North Stars shoot it into the Calgary zone. Reagan is forced to make the save. He came on midway through the second period, replacing the starting goaltender, Rejean Lemelin. And it's knocked back into the Calgary zone, and Minnesota is called in the offside.
Well, the bottom line in this whole thing is, let's say Calgary loses tonight. They can still come back. We know that. They know that. But I feel they can only come back one way, and it's just what we're talking about, to get playing that defensive style, being tight in their own end, checking, not trying to get into this wide-open helter-skelter type game that Minnesota wants them to play.
They can't win playing North Star style, freewheeling. That's absolutely right.
A lot of people thought they would be more physical from the outset of the series, Gary. And
well, they really don't have a physical team. You know, there's only 3 or 4 that really take the body effectively, but because they have a big team, everybody seems to think that that's their style.
Marsh with a shot from the point, and it's gloved by Beaupre with Gould right there looking for a rebound. Tonight's Stanley Cup playoff game is coming to you from Bloomington, Minnesota.
Have you ever wondered if one heating supplier is better than another? Then ask yourself, does he have a 24-hour emergency line? Or a furnace maintenance plan? Has he ever let you run out of oil? Is your home clean and tidy after a service call? If you're getting the wrong answers, call your Esso Home Comfort associate and get the right ones. Esso Home Comfort. The time for answers is now.
Well, considerable creativity being shown by the Minnesota fans here at the Met Center.
If there was any doubt where we were tonight, you know now where we are.
From the face-off, a quick shot by McMillan just went wide. In the Minnesota zone, Roberts, lead pass too far for Broughton. It's fired back in, but 2 Calgary players were trapped offside.
Tickle, I thought you made an excellent point there at the end of the second period, how you talked about the Flames being really out of position. Right-handed defense over on the left side, same with the forwards, going all over the place, not really having a game plan in mind. And that's something that they really have to improve on, or, there just isn't any way.
Well, that's the scary thing is, if you're a Calgary fan, is that it was a big game and they started off that way. And I just wonder if maybe some of the guys weren't thinking all in the same way or something, because it seemed to be so disorganized right from the opening whistle, and they want to tighten up a little bit, I'm sure.
Flames moving out of their own zone. Fired in by Hislop. Cicerelli takes it back to the net. 3 goals tonight. He loses it to Hislop. Hislop tried to feed it to LaValle. He had difficulty controlling it. He's taken in against the boards by Hartsburg, and they'll force another face-off in the Minnesota zone.
Well, this guy has almost been overlooked, but boy, has he played with a lot of poise. He handles the puck so well. I think they go to Hartsburg a lot when they're in trouble. Give it to Hartsburg. He can control the pace of the game, carry it out, pass it out. He certainly has the ability to do that.
Out of Sault Ste. Marie, the first draft choice of the Minnesota North Stars in 1979. And he, indeed, Gary, has played a strong game back in the blue line tonight. Kevin LaValle in the face-off circle. Cicerelli is opposing him. Now Cicerelli is waved out of there. Tom McCarthy will step in. McCarthy, this morning, following the skate, was still uncertain as to whether or not he would be able to play. He had to have a new cast placed on his wrist before any decision was made, and the decision was left entirely up to him as to whether or not he felt he could play. He has certainly contributed tonight for the North Stars, although he has been used sparingly.
There's Tom McCarthy. Another fine draft pick by the Minnesota North Stars. A few words with referee Bob Myers. Ian LaValle on the face-off had a few words. McCarthy and LaValle were put in after the 2 original center icemen were thrown out.
McCarthy's gloves come off here, and it appears that he's not afraid to re-injure it again. He just got back, and already he's ready to use that wrist again, it looks like.
Well, he was telling us this morning he came very close to having very serious problems with that wrist had he not caught it just in the nick of time. He had to undergo emergency surgery that actually saved the arm for him. Now it's McCarthy moving in across the line, drop pass. Anderson feeds it to the goal mouth, but it's handled easily by Reagan. Now it's Kevin LaValle going back of the net, dodging one check, moving out slowly, going after the loose puck. Long shot, and Beaupre got a piece of that. Back to the line. Radicalio took a shot that is deflected over top the Minnesota goal. Kept in at the point. Fired by Murdoch. Beaupre handled it. Brought back out by Minnesota's McCarthy. McCarthy in across the line. Drop pass for Hartsburg. Hartsburg had it partially stopped by Hislop. Hislop takes it in against the board. Cifarelli and Hislop fight for it, and they force a face-off in the Minnesota zone. This is Hockey Night in Canada from Bloomington, Minnesota.
It takes calm, unhurried patience to brew Bradol, so take the time to appreciate it. Bradol from Molson. Take the time.
They're into the third period now at Madison Square Garden in New York. The Islanders leading the Rangers 4-2, and of course, if there is any more scoring in that game, we'll keep you posted. Here it's 6-2, Minnesota leading Calgary. And another face-off will take place in the Calgary zone as they jam it in against the boards.
You know, the Flames have not won in Minnesota since February the 24th in '79 when they beat the North Stars 6-3. And since that time, the North Stars have won 4 regular season games and 1 playoff game, and on their way to their second.
From the face-off, Smith trying to keep it in at the line. However, it's knocked out to center ice by Lever and back into the Minnesota zone. Now Roberts for the North Stars, working in across the line, trying to go to the corner. Flips it back at the Calgary net. Reagan plays it up along the boards. Bobby Smith got there first. Back to the line to Roberts, over to the other side for Greg Smith. His shot is deflected wide. It ricochets off the boards. It's kept in by Roberts. It almost ricocheted out front. It was taken into the corner by Mars. Now on the other side, Lever leaves it there for Russell. Ahead to Poplinski. He's got Willie Platt with him, along with Lever. Over to Lever. His shot way out of his net. Beaupre made the save. He came out to the edge of the face-off circle on that shot by Lever. At the line, Russell trying to keep it in. It bounces, picked off by Minnesota's Payne. Payne shot it into the Calgary zone, but Bobby Smith was way offside.
Hey, I like the way Beaupre, as soon as he watched the head go down on the shooter, he was out 10, 15 feet. Is that what goalies really look for on a shooter?
Well, it is. And if you're small like that, and you have a tendency to go down, as farther you get out, if he's going to shoot it over you, it's probably going to go over the net. And that's what Donnie likes to do, especially when a guy like Lever, goalies know shooters. And you know, I know myself, Donnie likes to shoot hard off that wing and see that head drop. Go get him.
Chico, I also think he came up with one of the great quips when somebody referred to his stature. He was only 5'8", 155, and they asked him about playing goal. He said, I only have to stop the puck. I don't have to beat it up. Now it's Kristoff into the center ice area to Palmer. He's got a goal tonight. He shoots it into the Calgary zone. Along the boards, kept in by McMillan. McMillan clears it down the ice. Reinhart going for the goal, the shot, the save, the puck is loose in front of the net, and Beaupre falls on top of it.
There's going to be a penalty.
With the score, Minnesota 6, Calgary 2. This is Stanley Cup 81.
Looks great, looks bright, great performance day or night. There's a brand new view in store for you, and Samuel
Sanyo presents Color Plus Television. Sanyo's most brilliant color plus Sanyo's most advanced features. Color Plus.
There's a brand new view in store for you. Sanyo makes it better.
Well, Freddie Barrett, a 10-year veteran of this hockey club, will get caught for holding, but it'll be right in front of the net as he got a hold of the stick of Gould, and Myers whistled that one down, but a close call in front of Beaupre, but like they say, no cigar.
That would have been a goal if Freddie hadn't grabbed his stick.
A goal here for the Calgary Flames would certainly give them some life.
I think they're more concerned with really is getting that power play going. Now, they have scored once, but the other chance has been not very effective at all.
From the faceoff, it's cleared down the ice by Minnesota. Radicalio is going back after it. Radicalio will bring it out for Calgary. It goes off McMillan into the Minnesota zone. McMillan going back of the net. He has it taken away by Hartford. And as you suggested earlier, Gary, Hartford has really played well back on the blue line for Minnesota. Radicalio coming out of his own end to Houston. Houston has it poked away. Here's a chance for Kevin Maxwell. He's going in alone. Maxwell shoots, he scores! Well, the Flames gave up 2 shorthanded goals in the first game. Another one here tonight.
Well, anytime you're not backed up in the play, you become vulnerable. And Kevin Maxwell, that looks like it went through that hole that we were talking about, Chico.
You got it. And they know that that's where he's weak, but a lot of times you'll get that plug. Unfortunately, here he gets a piece of it, Pat Riggin does, but it trickles through into the net. And see, you have Kenny Houston carrying the puck up. That's what we're talking about, Gary. Not that Kenny Houston's a terrible puck handler, but you got him carrying the puck up, trying to set up. You don't want him there. He's the man who works in front of the net. You want a Schweenard, you want a Bobby McMillan. And like I say, they don't seem to have any direction on that power play because it should be basic. You come out of your end, you have your best puck handler carrying the puck up, set it up in their end, then you have the guys go to work in front of the net, move the puck to the point. But the Flames just seem to have the wrong guy carrying the puck at the wrong time.
And not only that, the North Stars were lined up in that blue line, and it would have taken a magician to get through all those green shirts. And everybody else is standing still. But here's Kevin Maxwell. He was harassed from behind by Reinhardt, but still got that shot away through the legs of Pat Riggin for a 7-2 lead.
11:16 is the time left in the game, and Hockey Night in Canada will continue in a moment.
Next, a consumer report with some financial advice.
I need money, not advice.
So did I, and I did something about it.
You asked for a raise?
No. Lori and I started our own Amway business. We're building financial independence as Amway distributors part-time. And the extra income helped buy this car.
Sounds like you discovered a better life.
Oh, with Amway. So can you.
Contact an Amway distributor and get the whole story.
Well, we've got a delay. Some of the fans throwing debris onto the ice following that shorthanded tally by Kevin Maxwell, his 3rd of the playoffs. Maxwell, of course, a member of the Canadian Olympic team a year ago. 2 other members of the North Stars played with the United States gold medal winning Olympic team. Don Beaupre has faced 25 shots tonight in goal for Minnesota. 41 have been directed by his teammates at Lemelin and Pat Riggin.
And, Don, that isn't anything new for the Calgary Flames because of the 13 playoff games that they've played. They've been outshot 9 times. We remind you that the Stanley Cup playoffs continue at the Corral in Calgary, Game 5. And that will be a 9 o'clock start Eastern Time on Thursday night.
Should a 6th game be necessary, it will be back here in Bloomington on Saturday night. They'll perform that face-off again at center ice. Kevin LaValle in the circle against Neil Brock.
You know what, gentlemen? I believe that shorthanded goal has tied a NHL record also for the Stanley Cup playoffs.
I think the record book is taking a pretty good beating in these 1980-81 playoffs, and there's still more to come, I'm sure. Play in the Minnesota zone. The North Stars try and flip it out. It goes over the glass and out of play. Neil Broughton with that NCAA winning aggregation, and he, of course, a teammate of Steve Kristoff, and they have worked together well as a unit for the Minnesota North Stars since being united with just 3 games remaining in the regular season.
That has tied a NHL record which was set last year. So 22 shorthanded goals have been scored this year. That ties last year's record, and I'm sure that will be broken before it's over.
10:55 is the time left in the hockey game. The Valley to Lever. He shoots it in. Knocked down by Gordy Roberts, and he flips it the length of the ice. Talk about some of the draft choices that Minnesota has made. The acquisition of Roberts from Hartford for Mike Fiddler was another great move by Lou Nanne, in the opinion of most hockey observers. Roberts flipping it up along the boards, kept in by LaValle, rink wide. At the side of the net, Lever was cutting for the goal. However, he couldn't get on top with that pass from Chouinard. Now it's Roberts at the line. Back into his own zone to Brad Maxwell. He fires at the length of the ice with 13 seconds left in the penalty to Barrett.
You know, I'd hate to see the Flames just sit back and take it easy and not really go down fighting, because you don't want to make it easy for the North Stars. Give them something to remember you by for the next game.
Barrett is back in the ice. The North Stars with Greg Smith to the attack. Smith has it hooked away by Chouinard. In across the line with Gould and Dwyer. Chouinard gets it back, tried to center it again. It bounced off a leg. He gets it out to Gould. He shoots, he scores! Beaupre got a piece of it.
Perfect example what Mike Liut was talking about earlier in that between periods thing we had.
From the corner.
On the 5-hole. See, the puck's going to come out of the corner here, Gary, and it's going to first hit the glass, go back in the corner, across the net. Donnie Beaupre moving across, you have to open your legs to get across the net. And when you do, you're very vulnerable, like Mike said. It's really a tough shot to get those ankles together.
But look at Gould, waiting there. He had his stick on the ice. As soon as it hit his stick, he released it. And I'm sure he's not shooting for that 5-hole. He's just trying to get the puck on the net.
Here's a chance for Dwyer, going in on goal. He scores! 2 quick goals by Calgary. And the Flames will be ignited by this quick outburst late in the 3rd period. It might not help them pull this one out, but it will certainly help them when they return home.
Well, a good play here by Murdoch, and Dwyer with his tremendous speed getting into the open. A little shift and high over the glove hand of Beaupre, and that's what you talk about the Calgary Flames. They don't quit. They keep coming at you.
10 minutes left, a lot of time.
The rookie called up from Wichita, the Central League, as a result of the injury to Kent Nielsen. And just 15 seconds after Gould scored, he makes it 7-4. Marsh in across the line. He flipped a pass to the left side. There was nobody there. It goes back of the Minnesota goal. Up on the wing. Palmer was unable to get it out. Now it's cleared out. Kristoff with it. Over on the left side for Roberts. He overskated it. And Radicalio goes back into his own zone. Radicalio. A rink-wide pass for Hispa. Hispa trying to go around Roberts. To LaValle. LaValle tried to steer it in front of the net. It's grabbed and held by Beaupre. Once again, there's more action at Madison Square Garden. Here's Jake McDonald.
Now Goring on the face-off. He's out there with Caller and Gillies. The Islanders get to center ice. Don Maloney shot it in. Lane failed to clear it out. Allison puts it off in front. Maloney tipped it in. It just went wide. Maloney, who hasn't scored in this series, came close. Back of the net. Maloney trying to come out in front, banging at it. It's underneath Billy Smith, and we'll get a face-off in the Islanders' zone.
Well, Chico, your former goaltending partner with the Islanders is certainly coming up with some saves. as the Rangers are trying to get back in it.
He hasn't had a lot of work, but by that flurry, it doesn't look like the inactivity hurt him much.
Anderson against Chouinard in the face-off circle to the left of Beaupre. 2 quick goals here in the third period have reduced the lead to 3. Goals coming from Gould and Dwyer, just 15 seconds apart. Reinhardt races in from the point. He's taken in against the boards by McCarthy. McCarthy manages to clear it out. Now, here's a chance for Chouinard. He puts on the brakes, looking for someone to pass to. It goes into the corner. Picked up by Reinhardt to Chouinard. His shot and the save by Beaupre. Now it's Cicerelli into the center ice area. Intercepted by the Flames, but fired in by Chouinard with Gould offside. Live from Bloomington, Minnesota, the Stanley Cup playoffs.
At electric power sites in Canada, engineers from China are learning new techniques. They know Canadians have one of the most reasonably priced and reliable electric power services in the world. And like many other countries, they come to study our innovations, like pioneering extra high voltage transmission.
Well done, Canada.
Constant innovation. It's one reason Canadians enjoy one of the most reasonably priced and reliable electric power services in the world.
8:17 is the time left in the game. The face-off just outside the Minnesota line. 7-4, the North Stars lead. Radicalio fires it off the boards. Goes all the way to the other side. Calgary's Poplinski keeps it in. He took a shot, got the rebound, and then was knocked off the puck by Bobby Smith. McAdam in across the line, looking for Payne. Back to McAdam, quick shot, and it's wide. Dwyer plays it around to the other side. Picked up by Brad Marsh. Marsh to Radicalio in the center ice area. Radicalio a pass in the wing, but Dwyer was ahead of the play offside. Radicalio scored the game's first goal for Calgary.
You know, I talked to Radicalio this morning and asked him about the problem the Europeans have coming over here, and he said, well, with that big ice surface, they play more of a positional game. Here it's a lot of man-to-man checking, and the adjustment, it takes a little while, the customs, the language, looking for a home, but once that's taken care of, he said he just enjoys and loves playing here in North America. Just wants to be an all-round hockey player, and he's made strides in that department.
I think all the Flame players were somewhat leery when the switch was initially made to Calgary, but now they all love the Alberta Center. In the corner, it's Greg Smith to Bobby Smith. On the right side, Payne looking for McAdam, looking for Payne. Payne going in. The save by Reagan. Poplinski knocks it ahead to Flett. He's unable to get out. Smith was unable to control it back at the net. Reagan clears it up along the boards for Brad Marsh. Marsh dumps it down the ice. Going back after it is Greg Smith. Off the boards, into the center ice area. Radicalio to Hislop. Hislop in across the line. He's taken out of the play, and it's cleared to center ice again. Now it's Radicalio circling in his own zone to Hislop. 6:40 is the time remaining. Ahead to LaValle. LaValle going in. Beaupre makes the save as LaValle was falling. He was swinging at that loose puck, but Beaupre was able to hang on.
I think a bad call here. Watch the man reach out. Roberts or Lavalle's in all alone, and he makes a great effort as it is, but I don't know.
Roberts hold him right down, and I don't know if Myers was not in a good position to see that, but LaValle looks like he was home free. Anytime you pinch in, as the defenseman for the Flames did, you leave yourself vulnerable. Payne had a good scoring chance on a good setup there by Al McAdam, and Reagan again playing very strong in the net since he took over for Lemelin.
LeBratton with a quick shot from the face-off, and Roberts clears the loose puck. Now it's Kristoff circling in his own zone. Over on the wing to Palmer. Palmer trying to feed it back to Kristoff, picked off by LeBratton. LeBratton dumped it over on the wing to Russell. He's forced to throw it out to center ice. Broughton in the center ice area, goes back into his own zone to Maxwell, over to Roberts. Roberts loses it to Hislop along the boards. Now it's picked up by LaValle. LaValle trying to go around Maxwell. He's dumped, and Maxwell fires it over to the other side. A race for the loose puck, back into the Calgary zone. It's still laying there. Palmer along the boards, a good move, trying to get in front. He has it poked away by Russell, and Hislop starts back. He shoots it in. Beaupre plays it off the boards, picked up again by Hislop. Hislop firing it back at the net. Greg Smith is there for Minnesota. He gets it ahead to Palmer. Palmer, a lead pass off Broughton's stick to center ice. Reinhardt brings it back into Chouinard. Chouinard at the line, banks it off the boards. It ricochets all the way to the other side, and it's cleared down the ice by Ciccarelli. Racing back after it is Reinhardt. So is Anderson. It's pushed back at the goal. Anderson was able to touch it. There will be no icing. They fight for it back at the net. And Anderson forces a face-off in the Calgary zone with 5:07 left in the game. This Stanley Cup playoff game is coming to you from Bloomington, Minnesota.
The world car, Ford Escort, now shows you another face. The sporty Ford Escort SS. It shows its stripes, pulls with front-wheel drive, handles with rack and pinion steering, smooths with four-wheel independent suspension, informs and invites. The sporty Ford Escort SS. Test drive a front-wheel drive Escort at your Ford dealer now.
Play just underway in the Calgary zone. It's brought out by the Flames. McMillan on the wing to Chouinard, back to McMillan. He tried to play it between the defenseman's legs, but Hartsburg broke it up. His pass for Ciccarelli just a little too far. Radicalio back in his own zone. It deflects off McMillan's stick to center ice. Ciccarelli gets it again for the North Stars. Ciccarelli, he has the hat trick tonight for Minnesota. Circling at center ice and then flipping it in. 7-4. The North Stars lead with 4:29 left in the hockey game. In across the line comes Reinhardt. He has it poked away. McAdam ahead for Smith. Too far. Now Radicalio dodging a check from McAdam in his own line. On the wing for Dwyer. Dwyer tried to center it. It's slid to the other side and into the center ice area. Smith was knocked down by Reinhardt. The fans reacted there, figuring there should have been a penalty.
Well, I think he had to let that one go after the play to LaValle.
Here's Poplinski moving in. Shoots, and he fired it wide. Willie Platt hammered into the boards by Barrett. And Platt is down. We can't see him from our vantage point as he's on the near side boards, but Barrett really smashed him in there. He's just getting up now.
Well, Willie Platt's a tough customer. He'll shake it off. You know, when you're the type of individual that he is, he doesn't want to let anybody know that he was hurt. But what a hit by Fred Barrett. He'll take a piece of Platt and just knock him into the glass, and Willie really went down hard, but he's up and ready to play again.
7-4. Minnesota leading. Dino Ciccarelli with a 3-goal performance tonight. Other goals coming off the stick of Steve Kristoff, Bobby Smith, Palmer, and Maxwell.
Now, Palmer, he has been a pleasant surprise for this hockey club. A youngster that has just moved in there and taken charge.
LaValle with a shot. Another drive. This one by Russell, and again the two defensemen, Maxwell and Hartsburg, standing up, and both shots hit them. Now it's Marsh going in back of his own net. He goes around to the other side to Hislop. Hislop dumps it to center ice with 3:20 left in the hockey game. Hartsburg off the boards for Palmer. Tried a backhand pass that was picked off by the Calgary Flames in the center ice area. Cleared to the Minnesota line, and then the North Stars quite content just to dump it down the ice. North Stars leading by 3 goals. I'm sure at this stage being very conscious of not making any defensive errors.
Well, they haven't gone aggressively offensively this period. They seem to be hanging on, and that's always a mistake that a lot of teams, when they have the big lead, tend to fall into that trap and just stop skating.
Here's a 2-on-1 break. Tom McCarthy going in with Cicerelli. He just missed the pass as McCarthy fed it across the goal mouth. McCarthy again, and his shot is deflected high up into the crowd. Well, there's more action at Madison Square Garden. Once again, here's Jake McDonald.
3. So we get set for this face-off in the Islanders zone. Trottier got it to Lorimer, tipped it to Lane, out to Trottier. Now to Dwayne Sutter. Sutter and Carroll together. Sutter's long shot, Baker the save. Dropped it, Billy Carroll in after it to Sutter, round behind it, and he scores! Dwayne Sutter gets a big goal. Billy Carroll. The Sutter comes from back of the net and stuffs it in. Remember the Edmonton series in the deciding game? Much the same. Dwayne Sutter, who hasn't been used all that much tonight, gets a very important goal.
Well, it looks very much as though the defending Stanley Cup champions are going to be in this year's Stanley Cup final, now leading 5-2. Minnesota brings it in across the line, but Cicerelli was offside. A little anxious, I think. He would love nothing better than to beat Pat Regan.
Yes,
3 goals, but they were all against Lemelin.
Well, I'm sure getting back to that other series that the Islanders are happy about the return of Sutter because he's a tough customer and also can score as he showed tonight. Hey, Sonmore isn't talking. Would you believe it?
He appears to be somewhat relaxed right now in behind that Minnesota bench, and for very good reason. With just over 2 minutes remaining, his team leads by 3. A victory will give them a 3-1 series lead. Game 5 at the Corral in Calgary on Thursday night. Should a 6th be necessary, it will be back here at the Met on Saturday evening. McCarthy shoots it into the Calgary zone. Radicalio being watched by Cicerelli. Radicalio back to his own net. Pass up on the wing, over on the left side for Dwyer. Dwyer in front of the net, and Gould just failed to deflect it as it's cleared down the ice. And icing will be called against Minnesota.
Again, we look at Pekka Radicalio, some nifty moves in his own zone, getting that puck out of his zone. Certainly has the tools back behind the blue line, carrying the puck, making the plays, and I guess with Pat Regan's performance tonight, you can expect him to be back for game number 6.
Definitely. You've got to go with Pat after the way he's played tonight, and really in the entire playoffs.
Platt back to the line. Reinhardt, his shot right on. Platt was in front of the net. Beaupre had the knock down, and here comes Minnesota. A 2-on-1. Payne shot, and it's held by Pat Regan with Bobby Smith cutting in from the other side. Smith was looking for the rebound. Regan did give it up, but pounced on the puck.
Well, another strong performance by number 15, Bobby Smith, as he did in the last game here. The absence of Tim Young. You look for somebody to pick up the load. Number 15, Smith, has certainly responded when called upon.
Smith facing off against Poplinski. He's waved out, and now Don Lever will come in. Smith gets the draw back to Maxwell. He flipped it along the boards to McAdam. He tried to center it, but it was broken up by Poplinski. Poplinski going around Maxwell to the corner. McAdam comes back. He's hammered into the boards by Platt. And they force a face-off in the Minnesota zone. Obviously, nothing wrong with Willie Platt when he was decked by Barrett. However, it may have prompted him to become a little more aggressive.
The signs of a good player that when he gets hit, he also can give it back, as Willie Platt showed at that particular time. He took a good hit from Freddie Barrett, and his first opportunity handed it right back. But he's that type of individual, loves the aggressive going.
Poplinski along the boards. He's bumped there by Maxwell. Lever goes into the corner, trying to poke at Frey. Finally gets it away from Gordy Roberts. A penalty coming up against Minnesota, a delayed call. I'm not sure whether it's Steve Payne.
It is Steve Payne that will get the gate on the slash. No, it isn't Steve Payne. It's Maxwell.
It appeared as though referee Myers was signaling at Payne, but there's not much doubt.
You saw Maxwell from just in front of Beaupre there trying to hit Willie Plett. Also a first-round pick. Brad Maxwell, and Brad's sister married Rick LaPointe, former teammate of mine, now with the St. Louis Blues. You see the smiles on the North Stars bench. I guess when you're leading 7-4 with 52 seconds left to go, you can do that.
Yes, the winners laugh and sing, don't they?
Just like you were doing today in our little gin rummy game, Don.
That's another story, Gary. 52 seconds, the time left in the hockey game. The Flames with the man advantage. However, it's cleared down the ice by Minnesota. 7-4 is the score. Kevin LaValle in his own zone. Over on the right side for Reinhardt. Reinhardt in across the line. It bounces over Chouinard's stick. However, LaValle plays it back at the net for Willie Plett. Plett for Calgary with 27 seconds left in the game. Back to the line to LaValle over on the right side. Quick shot, and it's fired just wide by Dan LeBreton. Willie Plett again. Back to the line. Over to the other side. LeBreton shoots. And the save is made by Beaupre, going down on his knees as LeBreton let go a good blast from just inside the blue line.
Well, the fans are filing out of here. They know that this game is over with the North Stars. Will take a 3-1 lead, but we had talked about Calgary. They will not quit. They did have a strong third period. Now, if they could carry that over to Game 6 in their own building, and as we all know, sometime that last game, that's the hardest one to win. So do not count the Flames out yet.
Face-off to Beaupre's left. 13 seconds left in the hockey game. Game 5, a must-win situation for Calgary on Thursday night back in the Corral. These fans at the net have been noisy for the two games here. I'm sure they'll be equally as responsive when they return to Calgary. Now Willie Plett and Fred Barrett renew an old argument, and I think both of them are going to be going off.
We've just been informed that the Islanders lead 5-2 now with only 5 minutes left to go in that game, so it looks like the Islanders will now wait for the winner of this series.
Well, I hope that nobody loses their cool here. Plett was skating in front of the Minnesota bench, and Jack Carlson was making gestures and indicating that perhaps he was going to come off the bench and have a go with Plett. However, that would be foolish, certainly at this stage of the game. Glenn Sonmore is certainly excited at that Minnesota bench. Of course, he's animated during the course of the hockey game most of the time.
He's been thrown out of the game, hasn't he? He's going up the alleyway, so there he goes.
Yes, he has.
Well, one thing you know, that when Glenn Sonmore is behind the bench, he keeps everybody alert. You'll never find anybody losing their concentration with Glenn around.
Well, Willie Plett has picked up a 2-minute minor. But so far, it looked initially as though referee Myers was waving both Plett and Barrett off. A bench minor has been called against Minnesota.
Well, you know who that was against. Glenn Sonmore received that one, but I guess he just likes to keep the officials alert.
Tom McCarthy will be serving the bench minor. Plett is going off for high sticking. Barrett is over at the penalty box. However, he apparently has not received a penalty for that incident with Willie Platt.
Can you hear what the fans are singing here? They are. Some chorus. A lot of signs here at the Mets in Minnesota. It's always been a city that have enjoyed hockey. In fact, my first year of pro was here in Minnesota in the Central Professional Hockey League. We didn't play in this building, but a great place to play. After a few mediocre seasons by the North Stars, the last few years they have caught fire and the fans have filed in here. Capacity crowds are again enjoying the North Stars.
And what really helped this franchise, in fact, in the opinion of some, may even have saved it, a deflated dinosaur there.
But not Dino Cicerelli, eh?
But what really may have saved the franchise was the merger of the Cleveland and Minnesota teams back in 1978.
So what fans are left here? Most of them are still here, but a standing ovation for their North Stars. And you just know when the teams go back to Calgary that the fans in Calgary, they will be doing exactly the same thing as what the North Star fans are doing, hollering for their home team.
Well, I don't know what the decibel level of the noise is in this building, but it is constant. That is one thing from the outset to the finish. The face-off just outside the Minnesota line with 8 seconds remaining. 7-4 the score. Now Poplinski comes out on the ice. Well, this one is all over. A final score of 7-4. Let's now go to New York.
At the Ranger line. The Ranger crowd takes a lot of knocks, but those that have been loyal and stayed to the end are giving their team a standing ovation, and that speaks for itself. They have had some things to cheer about this season.
They certainly have, and I should mention, Jiggs, that while every city has its known bad fans, there may be a few extra ones in New York, but they also have more good fans than any other place because they have more people. But there is a great loyalty in a lot of these fans, and they're staying right here until the end to cheer their team right to the very end.
Now this is Gordy Lane into center. 25 seconds left. The beach ball comes out on the ice.
Well, that's what the Rangers will be playing with next, as the saying goes.
There'll be a few golf balls, I think,
Yes.
before they get to the beach at
Yeah.
18. Edberg across the line, offside on the left wing. We're down to 12 seconds. So it's the Islanders and the winner of the Calgary-Minnesota series in the Stanley Cup final. You see the smile on the face of Denny Potvin as Bob
There's the
Moore
one.
wraps his arm around him.
Big difference between that look and the look 2 years ago, Jiggs McDonald, when the New York Rangers defeated the New York Islanders in a hard-fought series, something that most people did not think was going to happen. Big difference. It's a turnaround this year. 4 straight for the Islanders over the Rangers.
Now 3 seconds, 2, 1, it's all over. The New York Islanders go to the Stanley Cup final with a 5-2 victory over the Rangers. They were outshot tonight, 29-23. 7 shots in the third period. The Rangers had 9 in the third, but the Islanders got the only third period goal. That by Dwayne Sutter. As we look at Al Arbour, and there's a look at Craig Patrick as Gord Lane came over to shake his hand, and now Wayne Merrick shaking the hand of Craig Patrick. They were together in St. Louis. Ryan Trottier, and at center ice, the traditional handshake by 2 teams that put up not quite the series, at least the Rangers didn't put up quite the series that we expected. And over the doorway, we had a quick look at Phil Esposito. He has been
So the New York Islanders advance to the Stanley Cup Final, sweeping the Rangers in 4 straight games, and the Minnesota North Stars are 1 win away from joining them in the final. Minnesota taking a 3-1 lead in this series. Tonight's final score, North Stars 7, and the Calgary Flames 4. This is Stanley Cup 81 from Bloomington, Minnesota.
Nobody rises up in the morning quite the way we do. The crack of dawn, hot coffee's on, a glorious day's breaking for you. You're the reason we do it, and nobody can do it like McDonald's can.
This is the Electromulch lawnmower from Canadian General Electric, and it does a great disappearing act. Watch. The Electromulch cuts and recuts its clippings into a fine mulch and then blows it down out of sight, where it becomes fertilizer. The result? One beautiful lawn with no raking, no bagging, no storing or pouring. And that all adds up to a few magic moments for yourself. Thanks, CGE.
Well, that Stanley Cup fever in Minnesota remains unchecked after the North Stars win their 2nd straight game on home ice in this series to take a 3-1 lead. The 3 stars of tonight's game, and the unquestioned star for the 2nd consecutive game, is Bobby Smith. His 2nd straight 4-point night. Star number 2, Dino Ciccarelli, who put his name into the Stanley Cup record books tonight. 3 goals, giving him 10 for this playoff year, the most ever by an NHL rookie. And the 3rd star, a man who wasn't supposed to play tonight, Tom McCarthy, made 2 good plays to set up the 2nd and 3rd Ciccarelli goals, and that's really where this game was decided, when Minnesota's lead went from 3-2 to 5-2. We'll return with Stanley Cup 81 in just a minute.
With 3 decades of Zebco engineering, emerges a new standard in fishing performance, the Zebco Omega 100 series. Spin cast reels combining the best field-proven features of all Zebco reels with new super smooth drags. And new Zebco Omega graphite rods, feather light, powerfully strong. Put them on the line. The high-performance Omega collection, new from Zebco, the folks you fish with.
Hey, little brother, how'd you do that trick?
It's all in the step. I taught him everything he knows.
When does it pay to put all your eggs in 2 baskets? Every day at Bank of Montreal. It pays when you write checks with a money-saving, no-charge checking account. And it pays when you save with the daily interest savings account that has no withdrawal charges, earns you interest on every dollar, every day. And now, even better, pays you that interest every single month. No-charge checking and daily interest savings at Bank of Montreal, where it pays every day to put all your eggs in 2 baskets.
An official apology from Canadian Tire.
Well, this isn't exactly official. I personally want to apologize for our name, Canadian Tire. That's no name for a store with a sporting goods department like mine. We sell fishing and camping equipment. You see any tires? Daiwa, Coleman, Cooper, do they sound like tire names? So please, accept my apology. And remember my department. We have brand names and great prices. We have everything except the right name.
There's a lot more to Canadian Tire than tires.
Injuries and their effect can so often play a part. Tonight, 2 key players were missing. For Minnesota, Tim Young, and for Calgary, Kent Nilsson. In Young's absence, Bobby Smith has been a standout for Minnesota. The Flames have not been able to replace Nilsson's offensive punch, nor have they been able to check Bobby Smith. Game number 5 in this series comes up on Thursday night in Calgary at 9 o'clock Eastern Time. This is Dave Hodge bidding you good night from Bloomington, Minnesota. Canadian breakaway. Canadian General Electric, progress for people since 1882. Canadian tire dealers with 326 stores to serve you across Canada. And by the Ford Motor Company of Canada, on behalf of your Ford and Mercury dealers from coast to coast. This program is protected by copyright and is intended solely for the entertainment and enjoyment of the viewing audience. Reproduction by any means, in whole or in part, without the expressed written permission of Hockey Night in Canada, is prohibited.